Hello there. Welcome. Hi Anna, hi Pete. Let's see if we can get this going again. Hopefully everything's working. Seems to be at least. Well, we'll continue where we left off last time, which basically is, well, right before Miami. Discord is muted indeed. This time I checked. Thank you for checking up with me, make sure that everything's good. Hello Sebastian, hello Stego. How are we all doing today? This fine weekend day. I almost was late today, so I'll probably sound a little bit weird. Apologies for that. Hello Edster, how you doing? But let's see if we can get some fun stuff going. Hello BT, hello PD. The switch, they worked on every track. No, it didn't. When I tested it, it worked in Bahrain and it worked in a different one. So I felt like it was a little bit too harsh on that, so I didn't test on every track. It does work on a majority of the track, but basically you need to still be able to keep your temperature low in order for it to fully work. So there are some limits to it, but again, it should probably be rebalanced, because when it works, it kind of works a little bit way too good for the durability. Aggressive two-stop at the spot today. Aggressive two-stop at spot the play. Could be. As long as you run an attack, I think. So an aggressive at two-stop attack, if you can make it with the tire durability, should definitely work. Australia, shall I try it? I don't remember if it works for Australia. I know it works for Baku. Works again. You can try it, but try and make sure that you have a strategy that backs it up. Yeah. It basically is, as Sebastian's saying, you can use it to basically save a lot of tire. If you can stay in DRS behind another car. Hello Athletic, can I show the car stats real quick? Yes, I'll be doing that in just a second. We're actually just going to continue to race weekend though, because the AI doesn't actually put their new parts on the car or update the parts that are damaged until our race weekend. So if you want this to be reliable, the analysis compared to, say, the AI, you actually have to do this on a race weekend, funnily enough. But this is our car performance. Currently we're lacking a little bit in top speed, lacking a little bit in dirty air tolerance, but generally for the rest we're ahead of the field. And if we compare it to just purely from a stat perspective, we are pretty bad at top speed, we are pretty bad at dirty air tolerance, but we are pretty good at cornering, and we're pretty good at DRS. The acceleration stat here doesn't really matter too much, because it's mostly based on your engine, rather than how much you have tried to level it up. So if you take this into consideration, this car is probably at least top 3. Again, top speed doesn't seem to matter too much in this game. Dirty air tolerance, it isn't too hard to follow cars, even if we, particularly because we can run attack for the most part. So these two aren't super important, but I'd still invest some into them. So now that we basically have, you know, the best car for top speed, we're probably gonna try and get these two a little bit up, and then focus a little bit on getting these two stats up later on. When will my revised design guide be out? Probably either tomorrow or Monday. I'm gonna try and have the research guide out, but that's gonna be pretty short because of the bug. When it comes to the research, I'll probably show you later in the stream, but it's not super bad. It's just a bug that makes it a bit more annoying to get the research, all the research you need done to catch up with the regulations. Of McLaren halfway season, I assume. Piastri crashes each race without changing in Toulouse, but I he gets a buff soon, so I'm not sure. Any suggestions? The thing is, Piastri, Tsunoda, De Vries, a lot of drivers with lower control stats. If you don't get the confidence in particular up to high or very high before a race, they seem to just bin it every single race if you don't do that, which is interesting because that kind of hints towards that the chance of making a mistake from having low confidence is actually fairly high. And that is usually probably why you see a lot of cars. Let's say that you have early in a race, you have 2 or 3 cars that, you know, run wide, touch each other, generally crash a little bit. You'd expect their confidence to be at the bottom because of how volatile the system is. And that improves the chance of making errors. And even if you aren't at fault, if you are hit by another car, you still lose basically all your confidence. And that increases the chance of making errors. So it's just a kind of pinball system. If the car doesn't get taken out, it's going to take someone else out before the race is over. So it's kind of an interesting one there. Because it's mainly, I think, the low control and also low confidence. And they kind of probably amplify each other, funnily enough. Did I notice the difference between car 1 and car 2 of some teams? I asked on rank 1 and everything, car 2, and rank 20 on everything. Car 1 at some point. The difference between car 1 and car 2 depends on the parts you put on it. Of course, you can have car 1 be ranked first and car 2 be ranked second, but that is mainly because you probably either have put on older parts or because after a race you had some damage and that part is actually straight up missing. So that would probably be why. Confidence just needs to be a little bit more solid. Like, the thing is, even backmarkers lose confidence. Let's say that you're the worst team on the grid. You have the worst car. Red Bull, Aston, you know, Ferrari, and Mercedes, even Alpine. Any of the best teams have a really bad quali. You have a great quali, you start 10th. You're gonna get eaten up and you probably gonna have no confidence, and then you're kind of putting yourself in the worst position because you quali best. Like, drivers should have a realistic expectation, so to speak. Of course, it's fine to have expectations, but if your drivers are gonna be, you know, depressed the second they get overtaken under DRS by a car that is much quicker, they're a bit too fragile than the confidence system to me, honestly. I mean the AI, of course. Yeah, the AI will also do that because I don't think the AI is very good at balancing the manufacturing. So sometimes they'll use really old parts as well. If they have a lot of crashes, for instance. Thank armies. Appreciate it. So yeah, big thanks to everyone for the 5k subs. It's been going up pretty quickly lately, so I appreciate all that. Thank you all very much. Apparently we have been given a few days off on this chassis here, almost 10 days quicker completion date. And considering that we have 1 engineer, so it's basically cut down the time by 1/3. We will approve that deadline, of course. That is pretty neat. Did that bring it down to about 0? Nope. 3 days left. That's actually really good. It'll be done right after the weekend. Now, I don't remember if this is an upgrade. I don't remember if any of this is an upgrade. We'll have a look after the race here. So let's set up the performance targets. We should be able to win, I think. But again, I think I'm just going to be a bit passive here. We can either go for one driver in the top 3, or both drivers in the top 10. I think we'll go for one in the top 3. It's more reliable because whenever I do 2 drivers, they tend to always crash out. I don't know why. It's probably a confirmation bias, and it's not as bad as I think it is. But whenever I do 2 drivers finishing, you know, top 10, or 2 drivers finishing 3rd and within the top 4, top 5, the younger driver with lower control will always crash out. It's as if I added extra pressure to him, which is kind of funny.
Once again, we touch down in Miami.
Decide to go with Alpha, and I'll have the car and gave the car good DRS, but isn't good anywhere else. I don't know what to do. Generally, as I said, what seems to be the best in this year's game is just straight up having good cornering. Because again, we have a car that isn't really quick on top speed. It isn't really quick on dirty air, but it's still winning races because, well, mainly because of attack, but also because of cornering. Unrealistic, Verstappen just locked up and beached it at Spa. Isn't that hugely beneficial for you, though? But yeah, that is unrealistic. I was about to say Piastri. Verstappen would never do such a thing. So we're just going to set the car up here with a bit of a cheat sheet because, again, that is how I enjoy to play the game. But again, this is a single player game, so if people want to use the editor to make the Piastri, you know, as they feel, that's fine too. But for me, for the furthest we're going to go in this stream is basically just using a cheat sheet to have a look at some decent setups. Apparently, Mike Takumi is a man who enjoys testing things. Has a few guys on Steam. Did a test on the component weather season, and it isn't as bad as last year where you lose a full second from your running yellows. So if you were running, I believe it said 3, I don't remember if it was 1 or 3 yellow parts, but if you were running them now, this year, it wouldn't cost you as much, probably cost you 2-3 tenths. So they have rebalanced that as well. Running yellow components isn't as bad as last year, so don't be afraid to do that if you need to save money for next year's parts. It is actually viable to do so, very much. Hello, Vitold. Running P11 to grid penalties? Don't worry, by the end of the race, Verstappen's going to be up there, just waving at you. Yes, Zach qualified no SP2 on sand mode, but he needed a new engine, so he started 12th. That is a bit painful. That is unfortunate. Let's see if this pans out. Again, we just want to find optimal windows, and then we can reset this before quali. Do it like so. That should work. Make it P19. The respawn. Yeah, that does sound like a pretty common occurrence, unfortunately. As I said, I do have some side projects I've been doing. One of them is trying to make the Breeze kind of world champ. And the biggest challenge with making the Breeze world champ is the Breeze, which sounds mean, you know, but it's unfortunately very factual. It is just unfortunate that some drivers do tend to kind of spin more than others. Okay, not the worst safe driver prep. And as you can see here, the bars are different, and this is basically due to the engineers. But it's still okay.
Welcome everyone.
The race was a monster the last races.
Should be a good one.
Podium in top 5. That sounds pretty. That sounds pretty nuts. Were you managing Alpha, or did they do it on their own? Hello, Jordan. What's up? Not much. Streaming. Feeling good. A little bit stressed today, but everything otherwise is fine. I got everything I need to get done before the stream, so looking good. It's a band that I focused just making one car one good because show crashed. Depends. If you end up making one car, well, Bottas car good because show is crashing a lot, so you can't give up with the parts, then it makes sense. But generally, there's no reason not to just make parts for both, unless he's crashing every race. In which case, you might want to just consider, you know, investing into a new driver at that point. So we're actually going to be using new parts here. Again, ERS is probably one of the things you are going to be buying an extra of every season, unfortunately. But I think we can switch out an engine. We are going to use this one for practice purposes only at this stage, so this is okay. And we're going to be tweaking in order to set up here a little bit. Probably something like this should work. Just barely on the limit there. This should potentially be an optimal setup for Norris. That should be optimal for Piastri. So let us get quality set up here, like so. The AI did it with the Reese. That's a pretty mad. That's a pretty skilled AI then, honestly. PS is rated 81, yeah, Carl. Development is actually pretty quick in this game. For Tsunoda, I believe he is rated 84 now. After one season and some races. So, if you have good result, development is actually really quick. I think we are done here because we are getting rain. So, I don't think anyone will improve drastically. So, I think we're through. Hello, Guido. Welcome. And he's very slow. Qualified P3 in Monaco with your Alfa Romeo save. Nice. Honestly, that is on you. You're the one that did that. I still have to start the Alfa Romeo save of mine. Just been a little bit time limited this weekend. Do I have a cheat sheet for practice? Honestly, I probably should have just done this ages ago. I'm gonna update the give me a second. I'm gonna go ahead and update the description. So if you reload the stream in just a second, when I let you know, you should be having it there because apparently the YouTube chat doesn't like links. So there we go. It's now in the description. So again, if you just I was about to say restart. If you just refresh the stream, have a look at the description, you should be able to find it. I can see Guido, you're back. Next year, if you still have the job though, you should be fine. Yeah, Tsunoda is pretty decent talent, honestly. Didn't check, but I think he had to be running new parts and rest all parts. Could be. What is our rank on the grid? We are about 10 to 15 on dirty air and top speed. We're the best high-speed cornering team. We are the best. I think we can do this in Q2. We are the best team in terms of, I believe, DRS. And we are the second and third best team in terms of low speed and medium speed cornering. So our car is pretty good. There we go. Let's do the second qualifying run here. We are going to use this and do this on all the tires, mainly to just save extra stuff for Q3.
Track should be green.
And we want to try and get both cars out before we get, you know, overwhelmed by everyone going out, because it is going to start raining again pretty soon here. Might be raining a tad sooner than we'd like, so we could actually have rain before everyone does their first runs. Piastri in danger. I think Piastri's going to improve, so that's fine. There we go. First and third, so... Woo! He did improve. Like my Mercs, nice battle with Aston and Alonso. Honestly, I think a Ferrari save is actually a very good learning experience because they do demand you to get second. Which is kind of probably weird to say about a top 4 team, but fighting Aston, Ferrari, and Red Bull is going to be a pretty good learning experience, honestly. Upgrade my boardroom in Alpha, save my job. Yeah. That's actually a good point. The boardroom is going to be saving you because the race confidence boost. I'm glad you enjoyed the content corner. Alpha is really so hard. I'm studying a lot study well. It is very useful. Hello, Ollie. When do you think your twins are going to show up? Triple crown, but livery mode for McLaren. That is nice to know because they did actually focus on, you know, getting things to look good in this game. So it's nice to see that it actually does, you know, they succeeded in that. But of course, all credit to the mod maker. Hello, Nenke. You better be here soon. Drop show for Gasly. Honestly, you could probably have a lot of options for, you know, changing out show. Yesterday I spy was full wets in quali. At the end, it was dry. I was 2 seconds too late for a dry run, so he started last. It ended your Pie Mill sponsored quali payout. That does sound. That sounds painful, man. Honestly. Yeah, feel free.
Okay,
Probably
so
should
that's
just
green
make a
light.
new category, but for now you can just link it where you find it appropriate. I'll probably update the Discord. Honestly, I could probably do it now while they do the run. I don't really have any power here. I can make give me a second, I'll update with a mod category on F1 Management 3. There we go. Please do not re-upload my mods. There we go. Thank you, Ollie. Very nice. Yeah, it says 92 smoothness. Yeah, honestly, most drivers with good smoothness, it just gives you alternatives. Because I am thinking that they are going to drop a pretty big balancing patch. Hopefully, once they release team switching. But again, that's just what I'm hoping for because it's kind of needed.
That's P4.
Okay, so we get
That's a
P4,
decent
P1.
lap. That's a decent lap.
I don't think anyone is going to be improving
Keep your
anymore,
pace up
so
in lap.
that's still very acceptable. We'll take that for sure. If there a way to find out if each development focus increases stats equally or if they are weighted towards one stat? I would assume the focuses are equal, but it is an interesting question. I don't have a good way of testing that, unfortunately. So the only real way you could test that is probably by doing several runs. So probably have a bit of an opinion on it once we go a little bit further in, because I haven't really thought much about it. I just get sad every time a point gets invested in adaptability. Did you see the post I put up? Yeah, it looked good, honestly. Again, I do read, maybe not all, but at least most stuff. I'm just really bad at responding. So I did read that stuff. I'm looking forward to it. That is why I'm saying that I'm hoping for a pretty big balancing patch. Again, we'll probably a little bit too much to hope for getting it this month. As I said, with the team switching, we might have it, which would be amazing. What do you think about the avoid high risk curbs tactic? Make test about this. It works. It doesn't work on every track, but it works. And depending on track and the temperature you're going to get in your tires, it can actually save you up to... Wait, it's going to rain, so this won't work. It can actually save you up... Well, it can make your tires last 50% longer. If not, even more than that, running full attack. So on some tracks, it can be incredibly powerful. Can we make this softs last till the rainy period? We should. But at the same time, 18 is probably we need to go wets immediately, so... we could start medium here just to be safe. I think we're going to do that. Start medium and go full attack. Yes. That's going to be the play here. I think that is going to be our play. So, generally avoid curbs, though. It seems to be a little bit too cheesy for me. So we're not going to be touching that much more in the future. It was just a very interesting thing to see. Seeing certain stats going way more up than others, it would be good to know which focus to use to increase specific driving stat. It would be nice, Jordan, but it probably would require digging a little bit further into the code than I'm capable of. So we'll have to ask maybe Ignacio to have a look at that, to figure that one out. But I think we're ready for the race here.
57 laps await our
Your medium is a constant 117. Yeah, that's the thing. If you are overheating, if you are going beyond and hitting overheat, I'll just have a quick look here to show you. For the avoid high-risk curb thing, if your temperature doesn't stay within the optimal window here while running it, it won't really work. But what you can do in those cases is actually put on the driving clean air command as well. Because I tested that also just as a fun little side project. And with Red Bull running out front, with both of these on, it did slow them down compared to just running avoid high-risk curbs. But the difference was once again very minimal. Full attack was the quickest. Avoid high-risk curbs was 3 seconds slower, but you saved a ton of tire. And avoid high-risk curbs while driving clean air was even slower than that. It was basically 8 seconds. But again, that's pretty small for a full race. So you can try both of those, and that might actually pay off more for you. Does research still work? The thing is, Ninka, that is kind of the bug with research at the moment. For research, sliders should work in terms of moving them back and forth, but they don't at the moment. We saw that with, when we kind of got into the second season, that we have been moving our sliders a lot, but we gained huge gains in everything also that we weren't focusing on. So sliders doesn't really work right now. They work the same as the sign, where they keep everything in the middle, and that is why research is kind of buggy right now. You have to invest more than you think. And also because of that, I think the AI gets kind of neutered, because I think the same applies to AI. They aren't researching as much as they should on everything that gets hit by regulations, which is a bit unfortunate, because the AI kind of needs its research to kind of stay competitive. So that is the research bug. There isn't really much more to it than that. So research with that, as long as that is in fact, research is just going to be incredibly easy to do. It's just do a research project over and over and over again. There's nothing much more to it than that. What did I upgrade? I am P1 and P3. This is second season. We have been mainly focusing on getting underfloor, rear wing, kind of a little bit on front wing going. Made a decent amount of research last year to try and combat that, but the research didn't work out entirely as expected. As a result, we ended up with a car that might be a little bit better because of it, but yeah, it is what it is. Hello, Ginja Ninja. You get more money for the fastest pit stop competition. You get 12 million if you win it by the end of the season, so it is definitely worth it. Yes, I would assume that is going to be fixed, because if not, again, if you can't focus your research, then basically everyone is neutered. Everyone is neutered equally, but the player has a huge advantage because they can realize they've been neutered and deal with it accordingly. So yeah, I do assume it's going to be fixed. Still lap 18 for the rain there, looking good. We can go back to neutral here. I do have a tendency to run the DRS to the ground because I don't pay enough attention. That's on me. Yes, it is terrible in my season. What do I do? I mean terrible in terms of results, because it was really terrible for me too. Like, he scored 8 points per season. Norris was literally carrying the team. So he just needs to develop. That's all. He needs a season or two probably to develop. Does focus on the pace really work? Because I think it's not. What do you mean, Stego? Sorry, I'm not following. Need to win that then? Yeah, it's really nice, BT. It's a decent chunk of extra money. How are you so good at the game? Like, what's the best way to upgrade and become the best team? Generally, it's just focusing, in our case, mainly the underfloor a little bit. But I am going to have a revised design guide that's going to be going over that, probably out tomorrow or Monday. Depends. I'm about halfway done with that. Do have a little bit of time constraints this weekend, which is kind of limiting what I can do. But it should be out in, as I said, in the near future. What bug is it? Hi Ninja Zombie. In terms of research, these sliders are supposed to, as far as I know, actually, you know, you're supposed to be able to focus things while you research, but you can't at the moment. Even if you put all your sliders to, well, one slide to the right, everything else to the left, it will still treat it as if the sliders are balanced, which is why you'll be seeing, basically, if you focus, say, just cornering for your research for the whole season, you'll be seeing at the end that everything has actually been research balanced. So it's kind of wonky in that regard. On the drive in the race and then by this... Are you thinking this one? Rarely defend? Or low take aggression? Honestly, they will help, but the best thing is actually to have decent driver confidence. If your driver has high or, you know, even medium, you might want to toggle these on. But yeah, yeah. This isn't really a focus on pace. This is a focus on not defending. Like, your driver won't try and block people in corners to protect their position. They're basically just kind of being more passive in order to avoid crashing. It doesn't speed things up, these two. They do not speed up your driver at all. They are mainly there. Well, they speed them up slightly, let's be honest. Really, really slightly. But the real thing here is the risk of spin lockups and corner collisions going down. So it's basically if your drivers are having really bad confidence or, you know, are very error prone, you could toggle those on just to keep yourself a little bit more in the game. I'm Dutch, and there it says focus on pace. Okay. Because on this, it doesn't actually say anything like that. It says that it reduces risk of lockups and corner collisions for the top one. And for this one, risk of lockups, corner collisions goes down. Overtake defense go down. And as you see, it doesn't really have much of an effect on lap times. So, bit weird that one. These two should have negative effects on lap times, but because of the tire gain you get on some tracks, it really doesn't. So it says so in German as well. I think we need to send Frontier then a message, because if they've translated it that poorly, they might need to get some more help with that. Had 9 DNFs to Spain, which managed P2. That's always nice when the Destruction Derby works in your favor. Okay. As you can see, rain has moved, but it's still basically the same one. And I do like this. Again, we don't have the best forecast accuracy at just 56%. But we still know when the rain is, how much rain we're going to get. We don't know when it's starting though. Which could hurt us here, because we'll just barely be able to keep these tires alive to that point. So we're going to tune down Piastri a little bit here to aggressive.
Rain is expected.
Because we are going to be running in the rain for a little bit here. So I'm saying just focus on underfloor name. You want to focus on your underfloor, your rear wing, your front wing, probably kind of your side pod chassis suspension too. Because every part kind of has a purpose in this CS game. They've actually balanced it pretty well. And with that in mind, you can make, say, a rear wing that is focused on DRS efficiency, drag reduction. You can make a chassis that's focused on the same. You can basically make a cornering chassis really easily. And you can also, say, for the side pods, for the suspension, focus them more towards cooling, because brake cooling matter, engine cooling matter for engine durability, particularly with how expensive the engine parts is. It's going to be kind of important. So again, all these kind of do matter. Interesting enough. I mean, making specialized part definitely does work.
Yep, take care, it is raining.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It could be Ollie on the tracks that have let's say we were running avoid curves right now. We had 121 degrees. If we also run the driving clean air, we get even less tire wear and temperature, which would bring the temperature down within the operable window, where avoid high-risk curves really just, you know, removes degradation. So it can work, but it's going to be slower than just running high-risk curbs. In Bahrain, again, it was just 5 seconds over the course of the entire race, so not much. But I would assume that it's going to also vary by track. So it's a bit of an interesting one, that one. But yeah, because of the extra tire wear you save, you can actually do some interesting stuff. Now, we are kind of in trouble here with Piastri. So we might need to tune him down a lot and have him just run with Verstappen. For Norris, so we're going to tune him down as well. It is going to start raining a bit more very soon. But the question here is, do we do 2 pit stop and go on inters till this point? I think that's probably going to be the play here. Because, again, I really wish I could get just numbers for inters and wets, because as far as I know, they aren't in the game. Which is a bit unfortunate. So, again, Piastri is going to have a bit of a bad time now, because, well, we pushed him a little bit too hard.
Oscar, how's the time? Rears going a little bit. Copy.
So, I think what we're going to do here for Oscar in particular, because he is starting to lose out a bit more. Funnily enough, a lot of them went onto the hard here, which probably benefited them. But these soft runners are going to have a bad time. What I think we're going to do is we're going to pit Piastri this lap onto maybe a set of inters, because it is supposed to start raining pretty heavily pretty soon. And then we'll just have to pit him again, because degradation is going to hit hard on those wet tires. And it might actually just be better with inters hit total. We'll see. So we're going to get Piastri in for inters. It's going to be a bit of a gamble. Again, I am still not very good at dealing with wet weather racing on this game. But we'll get Piastri in. It should be patching that translation mix up. If it actually says in, German and Dutch that it straight up increases lap time, then they definitely do need to improve that, yes. Actually, a lot of cars are pitting now. Are they going on inters? Yeah, they are. So I think we're just going to get Norris in as well now. Put him too on the inter here. And as I said, we won't be pushing too aggressively. Did I put him on fresh inters? I did. There we are. We won't be pushing too aggressively here once we actually get on those tires, so we don't immediately cook them. But we'll do the same here for Norris, gamble a little bit. But good to move. Yeah, it's good to focus research for next season. You're probably going to have to. So Piastri comes around here. Didn't really gain anything from pitting early, but that's fine, honestly. The Red Bull should still be pretty quick. We can probably go up full attack now, because as you can see, we have gotten a lot of water on the track. Everyone is on inters though, so we are not on the wrong tire. That is, if you're uncertain if it's inters or wets, let the AI pit before you. The research bug's annoying for the, minus 30% regs. It's really annoying for that. Particularly when you have 30% reg that's targeted at a specific aspect of specific parts. It makes it a lot harder to catch up on that. Like aggressive stance so much. Yeah, it's good. Honestly, it probably needs aggressive and attack probably needs a little bit more balance in terms of if you're running them with higher tire temps, you probably should take a little bit more degradation than you currently are to balance it out. Taking notes from your alpha rebuild and knowing I should build 2 versions of pass, say for side pods, 1 high speed focus, 1 low speed focus. It could definitely help you. I haven't really been focusing too much on that right now because we haven't really had a need. But let's say if you aren't too competitive in Season 2, for instance, you can of course do that. And it can be really effective. We might have to tune down Piastri a little bit, we'll see. It can be really effective, but generally, as I said, the poor cooling thing is probably going to be a bit of an issue. You might need to just sacrifice a bit of race pace to make it work, because again, brake cooling does seem to have an effect on how quickly your tires do degrade. So it is something you're gonna kind of have to manage. Okay, tire severely overheating. We don't like that. Probably gonna tune both of them down a little bit then, because severely overheating is kind of what we want to avoid. Basically going above this, because that really makes the degradation start going quick. So we'll run aggressive. It's a little bit slower in theory, but it should also be a little bit better for the tires here. And we kind of do need to keep them alive because potentially we aren't going to be pitting much at all in this race. So yeah. You can see we are a little bit off here on what we expected. We expected there might be a need to go wets here, but there isn't. So, but it isn't as extreme as it was last year. So I'm still happy with this. Like, this is kind of what I wanted for last year's weather report, so to speak. But the main concern is Piastri, because he's going to have a hard time keeping these tires alive till the end. So we might need to tune him down even further, but for now we'll have him run aggressive for a little while. Can also tune up fuel usage here. Probably tune that up a little bit sooner, because generally you just use less while it's raining. The translation of this game in Dutch was not really good, so I did put it in English. That way better. It's way better. Yeah, I would assume so. Unfortunately, generally, a lot of work like that gets outsourced, which really is not too great. I'm in Season 2 and I'm competitive, but not for wins. This is my stats compared to Red Bull, and see what do you think it should be. Honestly, as I said, I think the main stats to focus on in this year's game are probably your DRS efficiency and your cornering ability. That's generally it. And try and have decent cooling to go with it, and you'll usually be okay. For the second season, what was my underflow research set as? For the second season, we had all sliders focused on cornering, but as we saw at the start of the season, the sliders don't really work at the moment. They are kind of bugged, so they kind of default to the base level research with everything in the middle. So it doesn't really matter how you do your sliders, it's just make sure that you do enough research to catch up. I could put Norris on avoiding curves, but again, I find that a little bit too cheesy. But then again, Norris is kind of running very chill out front. So this is one of those times where honestly doing this would make sense. But again, I find just the amount of tire you save sometimes a bit too cheesy for us. For instance, if we had done that to Piastri, he probably would have been able to save enough tire to be a threat to both Red Bulls. So that is a bit concerning. We're actually going to have to tune him down here a little bit more because he is losing tire rapidly. But you are right, Sebastian. We could put him on it. It would work. Same issue I discovered 10 minutes ago? Yeah. In Dutch, the whole font was stretched. Jesus. All the car pass names are so bad. Top speed is 13th. Honestly, that is basically in line with what I have. 5th in acceleration. Are you running... Which engine are you running, Jack? Yeah, you definitely need to focus a little bit more on low speed corners in particular. That's going to help you out a bit more. But it isn't too bad that acceleration is mainly going to be engine based. Okay, so you're basically just a little bit behind the other Red Bull teams in terms of that. Again, just focus your rear wing into DRS and drag, and you'll be good. And you are, as I said, going to have to probably work a little bit on the low and medium speed aspect, get those a little bit more balanced, and you'll have a bit of a better time. Box Lando? We could honestly box Lando. He's kind of safe for that, but we have 20 seconds to go on. Unless Red Bull boxes their drivers, there's no need for us to take any risks. We are being kind of boring and careful in that aspect, one might say. We'll have to see what we do with Piastri, because Piastri might actually need a bit of boxing and then go full attack. I think he could actually probably make something out of this race if we do it. Because right now he is going to just be losing out to the cars behind. They're not really going to catch him. But at the same time, he is not going to have a good time. So either we box him now and try and catch up to McLaren and Alonso, because he's not catching the Red Bull, no way. I think we'll try that. We'll try and go full attack, see how that works out for him. Although it's just 10 laps to go. So that could definitely backfire horribly. After regulation reset, the AI performed extremely poorly. Yeah, that is basically what I would be thinking of, Pete. That's one of the main concerns I have with that research bug. Is basically going to be breaking your saves, because depending on the regulation changes, the AI just isn't going to be able to keep up with you, and they're going to be severely neutered in whatever the regulation chooses to aim for. But it's mainly, I think, due to, as I said, the fact that research sliders all go to the middle. I think we're going to gamble on actually pitting Piastri here. It might severely backfire, but I think the potential gain of a second is gonna, well, it's gonna be more than that because we're running aggressive. I think it's gonna make up for it because we are kind of getting caught up to here by both Alonso and Leclerc, and already Piastri is kind of flying even before we get into the the good stuff here. So he's about 10 seconds behind this lap. Let's see where he is at the end of it. Should, as I said, gain it over 1 second, I would think. And he is. Gained about 1.5 there. So yeah, pitting Piastri was probably the right choice. Again, we probably wouldn't be able to fight the Red Bulls without, say, a safety car. But he should be able to get Leclerc and Alonso, and it kind of keeps him safer. But Norris here, we can probably just tune him down to standard at this point. Keep him too kind of safe. And that should be good. We are cooking these tires, still pretty bad, but they don't need to last more than just 7 more laps. That's fine. Really sometimes feel like they don't play their own game. Like in the game are so obvious they shouldn't make it to a published game. It does seem that they're lacking a little bit in playtesting, honestly. And that was kind of a red flag for me before the game released this year, that they didn't want streamers to kind of play freely with it before the release. Because again, if you just give a streamer 48, 72 hours with this, they'd probably unearth a couple of these bugs, and that'll probably hurt their sales. So that was a bit of a red flag for me. But again, I do have hopes. I don't have faith. I have hopes that they're going to be able to fix these. Hopefully, we'll see though. For the next info, should I focus on mid and low speed? Should I do a chassis? Let's focus on low speed because I will still get a little bit buff from high speed too. Generally, Jack, I'd say keep your underfloor somewhat balanced. That's what I've done. I've kept my underfloor balanced. You can turn down, what's it called? Drag reduction on your underfloor. It's not a big problem. The way that you actually boost, particularly low speed, medium speed, is by air sensitivity. Not air sensitivity, what's it called? Efficiency? I'll jump into it after the race when we have an opportunity, because the research should be done, so we'll have a slot to have a look at it. There is a stat that actually improves your cornering ability. So again, we can jump into that and have a look after the race here. Push you for Piastri, we are. I know, I'm a bit slow. Almost finished with Lewis podium in Australia. Real nice. That is a, if it's season 1, that is really good. There was an option in game to change it, so you have to change the language of your PS5 itself. Change to English. Okay. So it just defaults to, Dutch language for the PS5? Well, if you have it set to that, that's kind of interesting. Yeah, rest for Piastri. Yep, we're doing that. He is good now. Airflow front, yes. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Jordan, Inca. All of you have better control than I do. But yeah, that's going to improve your, in particular, your low speed cornering. So keep low speed cornering to max, put that to max, and you should be good. So yeah, pitting Piastri definitely was to play here. Alonso apparently has a lap time deleted by the looks of things. I didn't know that was a part of the game. That is very interesting. Let's see if it actually gets updated now, because that kind of looks like he got straight up just got a lap time deleted. But yeah, Piastri running 2 seconds quicker. If we had pitted him probably when he was 65 or even here, yeah, he probably would have maybe even had a chance to catch the Red Bulls.
Great job, mate.
Norris wins.
Boys and girls.
Piastri is hopefully going to come in fourth.
Finishes at the head of the pack.
UK or US English? Any advice to stay under the cost cap? Generally careful with buying extra engines, extra components.
Okay, that's the check.
You probably want to do mostly standard designs, or standard research. Well, standard designs for research to keep yourself under. And generally don't make any more than 4 parts, so you have 2 spares for anything, and you should be good. Actually, love your streams because you take... Well, that is kind of the point here. That's what makes it fun for me, at least, to interact with people in chat while playing. Yes, airflow front should be low speed, which is kind of what he needs to focus on. He was 3rd in high, 7th in mid, and was the 13th in low. So I need that low speed a little bit up to make himself a little bit more competitive. So 1st and 4th, with the Red Bulls in between. Not a bad race at all. We also snatched fastest lap. Leclerc 5th, Sainz 8th. Aston Martin is in 6th and 7th. And then we have Alpine with a surprise point scoring finish here. We still have a decent point gain out to Red Bull, so we can be happy with this. I am wondering though if Williams is going to be able to beat Mercedes in this save. That is basically what brought out the popcorn, to see how they do that. Hello Ricardo, how you doing? Finally made a stream. Nice to see you. Would you say that there are less driving movements? From year 1 to year 2, there definitely aren't too many. But that is kind of reflective of the real world as well. So it's not really necessarily a bad thing. Just got a win with Lewis in Miami Season 1. Started raining and pitted for Interslap after the AI. In 6 seconds, yeah. No question. Honestly, in 22, it was really powerful to just pit early for the inters. In this game, you can actually stay out and pit late, particularly if you drive that high ability, which I guess technically Norris shouldn't have after his show in Russia, but you get it. It does work. Still fastest on the pit stops. We have 100 point lead to Red Bull, so that one should be in the bag this year too. And we're regularly now doing sub 1.9 second pit stops, which is probably a bit too much. Made about 6 million here. That should help us out a ton. We do have the driver bonuses though. That is going to be costing us over the years. Quite a bit, but that's because I grabbed Leclerc. Yeah, if you grab a driver of another team, you could definitely start an avalanche of driver changes. So yeah. Depending on that, you could really cause some mayhem. Now, I don't remember if that project that we just did was something that I wanted to do for... yeah, I did not. This is basically just for research purposes, isn't it? I even didn't turn down the weight, so yeah, that's not something we want to manufacture. Same for this one. So we're currently just focused on the chassis to kind of level it up, I think. But yeah, the problem with research right now, just giving you quite a bit of a heads up. As you can see, everything is losing the same for this year. But say that you're getting something that targeted drag reduction and airflow middle. What you usually want to do is something like this, yes. But the thing is, research right now is bugged in the sense that this doesn't work. It's still after you stop the research, it's just going to revert back to this, and you're going to get equal expertise across the board. So you can't really focus into what the regulation is going to hit. Meaning that you really don't have a lot of control over where your car is going. And as a result, particularly for the AI, if they don't over-research their car, they are going to be losing whatever the regulation is hitting. Now, in this case, 5% regulation, 5% hit across the board for everything is probably going to be more beneficial to us than anything else. And I think we're going to also be moving over to on this game as well. This save, the McLaren save, we're probably just going to be moving over to doing research for for the rest of the season, and I think that is fine. We have a lot of cost cap remaining, but I think we are just going to do research. Now, in terms of design, before I forget, for the front wing in particular, we have airflow sensitivity, which is basically just how good our car is at navigating dirty air. We can tune this down. It's usually not a problem. Airflow front, as you have a look at it, it decreases high-speed tolerance, high-speed cornering, but it increases low speed quite a bit. And if we say do something like this, make a part that is mainly focused on that aspect, you can get a pretty decent chunk of, say, low speed cornering from doing this, but it's probably mostly, it's actually also really efficient on the, say, chassis here to focus on mainly the high speed aspect. You can make a chassis that is really good for that. So for instance, we could make this one, which is better than the one that we're currently using by quite a decent margin like that. Particularly for the medium, high speed, and even top speed. And if we do this, we'd even be able to do it without losing engine cooling. So if we get lacking on the medium high speed, but then again, this is chassis, you can do the same with the side pods. So the low speed is going to come mainly from your front wing and your underfloor. You can get a little bit from your suspension, but that is going to be a bit more of a challenge. Particularly since we do want to focus brake cooling. So as you can see, you can make a suspension that would still be a pretty decent upgrade. In terms of low speed, medium speed cornering, you'd be sacrificing a little bit of high speed and top speed. But again, I don't feel top speed isn't really a stat you need to worry about this game. So yeah, this is probably what we also could make. But because our car is pretty good already, as I said, we're probably going to be focusing a little bit more on just straight up research this season. That should help out. Merc can be challenging, but if you know how to develop, you probably won't have too many problems with Enkia. It's basically the challenge of catching up to and beating Red Bull and Aston that's going to be a problem for you. The best way to start a race, probably just go full attack. Attack, push fuel, deploy ERS. AI buy with contracts this year? I don't know. Check, I haven't had a look at it. Yes, that is a known bug, Jack. Schumacher has turned on an invisibility cloak. Show Merc, Hamilton Ferrari, Rick Alfa Romeo. Show to Merc, though, sounds like a, you know, that one's mad. I've seen that a few times. Lando, we can be world champions. Yeah, Merc's season 1 can be kind of rough because of the expectations of the board. Just a couple of crashes is going to put you into a pretty bad spot. Put a Discord on the Discord thingy, but doesn't get a lot of upvotes. It makes me think the casual player doesn't even notice the bug for research. Yeah, wouldn't surprise me, honestly. But it is gonna be painful. It's actually benefiting the player a lot right now because it seems to be hitting the AI harder than it hits the player, which is kind of bad. Do I know who the best Italian driver would be? Good question, honestly. Why am I having a mind freeze on this? Well, we always have Italian Jesus, but I don't know if he counts as the best. Also, just for research, once it gets patched, as you can see, 163, 178, 171. If you do this, you actually increase your gains by about 10%. So everything to the right for research does work. But this is gonna wait until this is gonna have to wait until the sliders gets patched. So you can do it, but again, it's not going to really work until the sliders gets fixed. DRS effectiveness important? I think it is, Voldo. Particularly if you don't have a high top speed, DRS effectiveness really just helps you with overtaking. Use DRS and with DRS and energy, you can really just overtake anyone pretty easily. Okay, our car passed with flying colors, very good. The chassis design is complete, and we have more CFD time. Good. Also, well, I have all of you here. Never upgrade these two. It's not worth it. The wind tunnel, CFD sim, don't upgrade them. Currently, the way that they are also kind of bugged. Well, it probably isn't a bug, but they're kind of not working as they should. Particularly for research, the gain from CFD and wind tunnel will be set at a level 1 facility. So if you're using these for research, which is basically what most of us will be doing, you won't get much of a boost. And as your car gets better, say once you start hitting top 3, the gain from these 3 in terms of performance is going to be so low that it's just going to be a net negative on your cost cap because the upkeep is so high. If we were to upgrade this, the upkeep would go from 150,000 to 230, and that is just level 3. So you can imagine that depending on how high you upgrade this thing, you're going to be losing a lot of cost cap. So these two just aren't worth it. Honestly, upgrading your car park test center can really be worth it, as you see here. It's cooling for your side pod chassis, it's cooling for your brakes, it's drag reduction DRS delta for your rear wing, it's downforce for your underfloor, and it's not really a lot of monthly upkeep here. The level 4 increases by just 10,000, and the same here for your suspension sim. It might just work on for just your suspension, but the upkeep is virtually nothing, as you see here. It increases by 5,000 to the next level. So keep that in mind. The Science Center, you can probably upgrade this to level 5, no problem. It should still be okay. It still has a pretty high monthly upkeep, but the boost it gives you so many stats is potentially worth it. So yeah, keep that in mind. And I would also recommend a level 3 factory. I thought this was a mistake earlier in the streams, but it actually does help out quite a bit. And also, interesting enough, there are facilities that don't go under your cost cap. So your race sim will go under cost cap, but these two won't. Basically, the upkeep will not matter for the cost cap. Either upgrading a facility or refurbishing it never goes under cost cap, but some of them do for the monthly upkeep. For your operation facilities, the only thing you need to really be worried about is the weather center. The others, the weather center upkeep, the others you can actually upgrade to maximum, no problem. And we probably should upgrade our tour center a little bit here, catch up on it. So yeah, if you have money, upgrading these except for the weather center isn't really that bad. It doesn't have anything to do with your cost cap, so it makes your life a little bit easier. Sidepod is OP for low speed. Sorry, I just need to catch up on chat a little bit. But he's old. It is. It's either that or you wait for a new talent. Sidepod change, chassis change, the whole grid for the sidepods. Good Italian driver rise 79. The GOAT. Yeah. The thing is, Jack, with the way that you can make specialized parts this year, you can definitely make parts that have losses. And say, for that one, for that suspension, it had losses in high speed. You can definitely make parts that have small losses in some parts, because you can make other parts that have huge gains in that area. So you can really balance it out that way. I need to sign Royness. Oscar made me breach cost caps, I sold him. Boost acceleration, stagger. The main part to do acceleration would be your engine. Your engine is going to be most of your acceleration. How is Hauge? We can have a quick look at that, honestly. Let's see. I don't remember what his first name is. We'll just sort him by age here. There we go, it was Dennis. 75 overall. One I had to do it. Puchet is 79 now, so he too is doing fairly well. Although he is now a reserve driver for Ferrari, which I kind of missed. Haven't really got any new gens just yet, I believe. Maybe a few, yeah. But yeah. There he is. You either read Mike's guide? I did read Mike's guide on the buildings. He has a pretty good guide on that, yeah. I've been testing a lot of things myself, and Mike's guide has been really, really helpful for just filling the gaps. So I kind of had to basically been testing some things, been a little bit uncertain how things work, had a look at my guide, and oh, that makes sense. It matches up with what I see. So it has definitely been helpful for figuring out how things work. Do I know if the F2 and F3 potential is more dynamic? It is definitely somewhat related to how they do. It does seem that way. So it's related to performance, kind of like it is for your main drivers. So the air tolerance important? I'd say probably isn't. You can probably... It's going to be important to some degree. Like, don't bring it down to 30%. But you can definitely keep it at the bottom half of the grid, no problem. And still have a decent car. If a driver's contract runs out at the end of the season, but I sign them in that season for next season. So what you're saying is they're going to be running it like, and Tom Stallard's here. Are you thinking about him? Like, he has a contract that is going to be running out in 8 months. You can actually just go here and click next season, and as you can see, the total cost of hiring, because we don't have to pay a buyout then, changes. So you can definitely do that. No problem. Just make sure that you click the button. I'm like mid of the midfield, but in my own area, I can challenge some of the front runners, mainly just mid area. Yeah. Spar's been my best race so far. 2-stop with K-Mag. 2 voucher safety cars, going to P6. Hulk from P20 to P9 on a 1-stopper. That sounds like a really good result, yeah. Jack, the reason why your pit crew isn't improving is because of your spawn director, because their maximum speed or lowest speed is actually tied to your spawn director's aptitude. So once you hit the cap, you want to try focus on the other areas. Baku with the 86 mil on cost cap. Hope that will be enough. It should not be a problem. Like, we're in Miami here. And the cost cap we have left is 65. Again, this is the important number. This one right here. This one shows you how much you currently have left. But this one shows you how much you will have left at the end of the season if you don't spend another dollar. So currently, as you can see, we're going to be spending 17 million on facilities. 600 on our pit crew. 84 on our scouting team. Engineering team, 800. Staff, we're paying a little bit more. Car part research, we've done a little bit of, so wouldn't be too worried. We do need to get the pit crew training schedule up and running again, and we are basically close to hitting the cap here. So we're gonna do a custom one to try and help get our pit crew to that maximum limit. And we're probably gonna just do balanced pit stop drills because that seems to do the job pretty well. The only thing I need to kind of keep an eye on here is that we don't go into the problematic area, so to speak, for tiredness for the races. This is also something I just noticed a little bit. I tried to click right, but it goes left. Okay, let's see where we're at here. I can probably put in another session for this one. Same here. And the same here. Okay, that one was a little bit too much. There we go, we should be fine for all 3 of these. And we'll put in a session in here as well. And then we'll have a look once we get into next week. So, I didn't actually pay attention now. I might have put in too many practices, and I kind of have here. I just tried to fill the calendar. So, we're going to have to backtrack a little bit, unfortunately. I got to Qatar with 9 mil left, yeah. Best customization to upgrade the underfloor. Depends on what you're looking for, honestly. That's the thing. Okay, so we basically hit the cap way sooner than I thought with this. Really didn't need as much training as we did here, so... Yeah, I should have paid attention to the numbers. There we go, that actually loosens us out. And that is enough to bring us up to basically the cap, so the rest is going to be put into car building. Because we aren't losing any time down here, so we are looking good from that perspective. And even if we put in gym training, it won't change anything. So let's just, again, get this kind of balanced and ready. Again, once you start reaching cap, you kind of want to, I didn't actually mention this in the guide, but you want to do custom and just do them balanced. Because the AI will be setting focuses for you on the presets. And they might not be the best idea sometimes. Underfloor specialized in downforce, yeah. I think we're about to start the Amelia Reiner round 6. Luckily enough, it's easy enough to check. So we just finished Miami for the 2nd season. Yeah, that is good enough. Again, you don't really need to push to the maximum every time. But it's up to you personally. So that gives us a good stat growth for this month. So we'll confirm those changes. There we go. I say your setup is going to be more important than your track knowledge, Sego. Because your track knowledge from one practice is going to cap out at 60. So if you think you are going to have really, really good chance of getting your setup correct, feel free to do it. But I feel like it is a bit risky. So we're missing front wing and we're missing suspension. Okay. We're actually making a new suspension. That's not actually a problem. And I think we're going to give it to Piastri. Because Norris is currently doing really well. So we'll give this suspension to Piastri. We're going to be losing a tiny amount of high-speed tolerance. But then again, it's not necessarily a bad thing. And we do need to manufacture one more front wing. There we are. kind of caught up now. I would hope. Yeah, suspension is really good for cooling. We actually have Mike, the goat himself, here with the tests. Nice to see you around. Car building is basically how quickly you can change setups. So basically for practice in particular, it allows you to change the setup of your car quicker than if you had low. And say you have damage to your car in practice, it allows you to change, say, your side pods a lot quicker than if you didn't. We can actually probably have a look at that. People are curious. Side pods manufacturing is complete. Chassis is complete, so we should be kind of caught up then. And we're ready for the next race here. Finish position streak, one driver, top 3 for 5 races. I think that should be doable. Yeah, I think that should be doable. The Red Bull is really the only threat that we currently have. So I'd say it is very, very doable for us. So yeah, Micah is a wizard when it comes to knowing how the game works. And as I said, as I've been testing things myself and been uncertain, usually just having a quick look at Mike's guide explains why I've been getting the results that I have. So he's really, really helpful with his guide, that guide of his. I'll forward to a season and get rid of Piastri. It cost me so much money. That seems to be what happens to a lot of people. Like Piastri just constantly crashes. He was kind of like that for me the first season too, but he has improved. And actually, that reminds me, I didn't have too much of a look on how he improved here. So yeah, he got a point in smoothness, point in reactions, 2 points in adaptability. This one seems to just go up super quick. Norris hit control and smoothness, so again, we kind of want to cap those. It would be nice. Yes, he is Adrian Newey's son.
Welcome along to Italy.
He's actually just straight up Adrian Newey though, playing this game. Played for been playing the game for hundreds of hours. Most of it has just been tinkering. Mike has a guide on Steam. I don't remember what it's called exactly. Let's have a look here. Design and Research Mechanics by Mike Takumi on Steam. Should probably post that too in the description, so I'll get that done. Should help out a lot with how things work. Guide to research, design and research. I think it was called. So I'm just gonna update the description quick. Design and research mechanics. Okay, so I was wrong. There we go. I think that's gonna help people who ask questions about the game a lot, so we'll get it in there. There we are. It should be updated now if you refresh, so you can find it there easily. Again, Mike, I hope it's okay that I just put it in the description here. I would assume you're okay with it. What's the best part for low speed? I think Mike said underfloor and suspension would be the best for that. And I agree, honestly. Unsurprisingly, maybe. Let's see here. And we are just gonna sim here. This is one of those fun weekends where you get to use the house for quality. So, what you could do here with the car parts during during practice itself is that you can switch out most of these. The underfloor you can't, but you can switch out your side pods. You can switch out your suspension. I don't remember if you can switch out your chassis, but depending on if you damage these parts, also in quali, your car building will depend on how quickly you do those, as well as switching setups. So again, it doesn't have too much of an effect on the setups themselves in terms of time. It's not going to be massively increased, but it is nice if you have accidents in practice and quali and need to quickly switch out a part. It can come in clutch then, but again, it is kind of limited in what it can do. This should be okay. Try that. I am an idiot because I just realized I didn't put on the older car parts. That is a waste of durability. That's gonna sting. Yeah, Mike, well, I'll have you here. How much did the yellow parts kind of degrade your car? How much page loss could you expect? Do you remember? So far in high speed, it's insane, yeah. Don't let Tsunoda get the championship. Currently, I'm pretty sure Rick is gonna get it. So we'll see. I know you're on the hustle, but how do you feel with all the content? I'm feeling good, honestly. I've had a couple other things that kept me busy this weekend, that is why. The only thing that's probably kind of not feeling good with all the hustle is probably my voice, but I'm still doing fine. I'm good. Don't worry. If I need to, I'm going to take a break, and honestly, I'm going to get kind of a break pretty soon because I'm going back to work on Monday, so content is probably going to slow down from there. Yellow parts like it, yeah. You're clicking away faster than you're actually F1 driver. The thing is, I've probably done this stage, just switching out the engine, ERS, and gearboxes, probably thousands of times. It might be a slight exaggeration, but I'm probably getting up there with how much I've done in F2. Sorry, 22. So yeah, we're getting there. The triple yellow parts only at 0.3, yeah. They did at least balance it a little bit more than Mike from last year, because last year it was pretty insane. You could basically gain up towards a second if they went deep. So it's definitely better, but at the same time, I'd rather them just increase the durability a little bit for it, make it a little bit more easier on the AI. Okay, let's see here. What would be? Try that, see if it's good on that end. That should be okay. Again, we're just trying to find as many optimals as possible. Got suspension coming that has 34 low speed, 12 mid, 1 high speed. That should be good, Jack, honestly. Now I'll lurk in the shadows for that punter strike. Hope you enjoy. Hippity hoppity. Afternoon, Keith. How you doing? Okay, I think we'll take that for starting compliments. That's fine.
Let's hope the teams.
Gonna have rain for quali. That's gonna be interesting with the hards. Apparently I did install it. What am I even doing here? What? Did I not? Yeah, I didn't. I said I wanted to change the car pass out, then I didn't. Did I change it back for Yeah, I might need to just go to bed early tonight. I had the best pass for practice 1, switch them out for practice 2, switch them back in for practice 3. Yeah, I really did not do that correctly. That is bad. Am I interested in Baldur's Gate 3? I have friends that are really interested in it, so I'm probably gonna pick it up at some point. But they don't really have time to play, and it seems like the game that's best to play with friends. So I'm interested in the game for sure, and I might pick it up, mainly also because I want to see what all the blast is about. Watching my... Yeah, I was a bit grumpy on that one. I'm sorry about that, honestly. A bit of frustration with figuring out, just seeing... Because I had high hopes for the game. Early on, it seemed really like they had kind of gotten things more correct this year. And then you find the glaring mistake after glaring mistake that would, you know... If I'd been able to just sit in July and playtest, I'd probably found most of these mistakes by then. Which is funny. But yeah, I have no idea when the patches will get done. The main thing that I'm hoping for with the patches in particular is that they'll get that fixed before, well, at least around the time they're going to add the team switching, I would think. I would hope. So we'll see. Been playing with a friend 15 hours into a save already. That sounds pretty good then. Sounds like you're kind of hooked, Ollie. Is it good? What is the best advice I'd give someone who hasn't played this game before? If you want to play it and learn, you are going to fail. You probably are going to get fired, but that is fine. There are optimal ways, so to speak, to play this game, but honestly, learning the game on your own, figuring out how it works, is probably going to be more fun than following a guide and instantly dominating. So if you haven't played this game before, haven't had much look at guides, things like that, tips and tricks, honestly, just try the game for a few seasons and learn and fail. It's probably going to be a lot more fun. Hamilton in Q1? Yes. Tsunoda, Rick, Bottas, and Schumacher as well. Got the engineer driver dilemma advice. I usually just try and fix that, honestly. Just reconcile. Intervene, I think it's called. But even then, it's going to solve itself over time. So if you fail, the worst thing that's going to happen is, of course, the affinity loss and the potential increased aggression, which could lead to crashes. But honestly, it doesn't seem to be too big of a problem. It's going to solve itself over time. When it first came out in early access, I kind of got bored with it, but it really hooked me this time. It's actually fully released now. Completely released. What's it called? It's out of early access. It is, isn't it? Now I think about it.
Should be starting now.
Okay, let's see here how we do. I did not sign up Piastri. I'm a dum-dum. There we go. Yes, it's going to suffer a little bit here with the rain. But this should still be okay, I think.
There's a car in the wall.
Yeah.
There's lots of debris where the instant was.
So you've been putting 8 hours in a day, huh? That's basically me with this game for the first week. Well, I put in more than that at times, so I shouldn't speak. Let's be honest. Yeah, I noticed that too, Mike. This 23 really tries to hide way more information than 22 did, which makes it hard to figure out exactly how things work. So once you do figure out exactly how this works, you can have an easier time for sure.
It should be steady and light at this level.
No, I don't think top speed is going to be very important. You probably are going to be just fine ignoring it, honestly. Well, not fully ignoring it, but as you see, you can sacrifice some top speed for cornering gains, and you'll probably have better race pace for it. Yeah, F1 22, when it came out, was just move everything to the right. That was kind of a funny one, because that seems to be how research is going to work with the sliders now, since it gives you about a 10% increase, moving everything to the right. But again, the sliders don't work properly, so can't even test if it's going to work like that. Okay, looks like we are going good. Russell are having a bad time. Yeah, after release for non-deluxe. That's not too shabby. I probably should sit down here and start doing some of those scenarios to kind of diversify a little bit, but I'm thinking I'm going to get basically something out of tire management, tire temps, because I would assume that they are going to be, making that more, because how should I describe this? I think the reason why tire temperatures are so insignificant when you're running attack for the most part is due to them being a little bit careful and not making it too strong for, people who don't like the micromanagement part of a management game, funnily enough. So yeah. Obviously, it's a secondary concern, plays a decent large factor in rain races. Okay, so it's actually important for the wets. Wet races do seem more common this year around, so okay. Could be why Piastri was kind of falling behind in Miami, I guess. So yeah, can't completely ignore it, but in my personal opinion, I'd say you still sacrifice a little bit of it for cornering ability. Would you think that would work out, Mike? Or is that a bad take by me? Red flag midway through FP1 in Baku, then low confidence. That's going to sting. Going to have to be a little bit careful, particularly on race start there, that you don't bin it in the first corner. Tracks at high speed, so like Monza, I've got a chance of it for 0.68.
P1. I can recharge on and box this
Yeah.
one.
Honestly though, as long as you don't manufacture too many, Jack, there's no real waste part because you gain expertise. So I wouldn't be too worried. Not the best quality we've had here. Piastri actually beat out Norris for once. But yeah, Norris is 100 behind Perez there. Had my first 1-2. Very nice, Dale. I like to skip race weekends. Could be. Like, okay, particularly when the catch-up seasons, yeah. It is what it is, though. I know that for Football Manager, there is, I believe, mods, basically, that allow you to do that. I don't know if anyone will be able to actually make something like that for this game. But honestly, it would be a nice feature of life just to allow people to, you know, choose it. Because they do have the option now of simming F2 and F3. And it would be interesting to see how, you know, a full sim season of F1 would work out, honestly.
The teams are making their final preparations down at the...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Mike. I agree with you there. I'm not going to toss all of it away, but I'm going to toss a slight amount to get a little bit extra cornering. So, I do agree with you there, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying take it all and chuck it out. That is definitely not the plan here. So we're going to go soft, medium, aggressive strategy here. I think that should work out. He actually does have damage medium, so that could be a problem. Same if for Norris, but I think this is better than going for 2 soft stints. It's either that or we do this, but this should be more effective, and we can just tune down the tires if we need to. So I'm not too concerned. And again, the smoothness difference here between Piastri and Norris, and just the difference in fuel, is kind of funny to me. Hard, soft is faster? Could be. Yeah, for sure. I don't need 757 at this rate. Is it just my season, or Perez is better than Verstappen? Could probably just be your season right now. Pretty sure Verstappen has been finishing higher than Perez. So you're saying that we do this instead? Let's have a look on what this would look like if we could make it work. Could potentially make it work, although we probably have to go aggressive on the hards. Be about 11 seconds quicker. They aren't too far off in terms of time, so it's not a bad idea. Particularly if you can stay in DRS with the other cars. But thinking we are actually the quicker car, so we kind of want to try and get away from the others to give us some more room to maneuver in. So what we're probably going to do is just run this strategy. But at the first medium stint here, we're going to run it a bit more standard for a few laps. And I think that should balance it out. Hard, medium. Okay, my bad, Pete. Let's have a look and see how that actually plays out then. Out of curiosity. Because that should be pretty decent. Theoretically, just a tad bit quicker. Well, 4 seconds, but again, starting on the hard side is gonna probably hurt us a little bit, so I think we're just gonna go with the safe option, the boring option, so to speak. But that is a good alternative attack strategy, yeah. That is potentially gonna work. Let's see. The only concern with this is, of course, for Piastri, he doesn't have a full medium for that final stint, so he doesn't actually have potentially enough tire wear here. That could definitely work for sure. Might need to manually take control to have enough tires. Although you probably can't for this because you're forced to use that medium for quali. Your first save, Paris won the constructors. That is great. First season Red Bull aren't as quick as they are in real life. Easy to catch up as Ferrari Aston. It's basically because they balance things from what they expect from the basic preseason testing, that sort of thing. In my semi-speed run McLaren Season 1, Piastri totaled 6 cars in 5 races and a sprint. Did you even have development money? I remind you of a guy who streamed at Warzone 2 Dumpster Glitch. I don't think I've ever played Warzone 2, so fortunately not me. That does sound like a funny coincidence, though.
Can use overtake.
Yeah, all good.
Oh, that's unfortunate, Ollie. Are you playing with Ferrari in that case? I would assume. This is upsetting. I've had that happen a few times where I've actually managed to run out of fuel as well. It really hits you hard, this game. Seems like fuel consumption is a little bit more aggressive. But yeah, as was suggested by Pete, doing the hard could have worked if we had stayed with, say, the Red Bulls. Because they could potentially pull us away from the rest of the grid here. Rest of the pack. So it wouldn't have been a bad idea. Piastri, though, pulling away from both Red Bulls. Excuse me. It's kind of impressive. Piastri decided this is his weekend, for sure, with that new suspension. McLaren? Ah, yeah, you pulled him over, didn't you? Now that I think about it. You hired him. -2 with 1.5 left. So I can serve, but wasn't enough. That is rough, honestly. What has Norris done this time around? Front wing mainly.
Are you okay? Are you okay?
Okay, they are actually on the hards. That's interesting.
Oh, that's obviously far from intentional, but there was contact.
There was indeed contact. Okay, so we had a little bit of minor damage. Didn't really eat much damage to the tires themselves, so we can basically just keep on going as we have been. Don't think we lost anything there. It's unfortunate. The main thing that we lost is probably going to be the confidence here. So again, I just want to take a little bit of a second to go over this again. Even if you don't get caught, blamed for it, the driving confidence takes a heavy hit if you get taken out. And as you can see, the chance of incident is now very high. So we're going to go ahead and do this immediately when this happens. And we're going to keep it there until he definitely at least is back to very high. Because, again, this is basically, I think, how most, big crash games start, with 1 or 2 incidents where both drivers survive. The confidence kind of plummets. And then we get crash mania. Max crossed line at the same time. Gave Max a win. I was pissed. P13 instead, since Alcabo P14 was lapped. I know I'm going to be a bit mean here, but the solution clearly is to lap them harder next time around. The main thing we lost is confidence. We did lose a lot of positions too, but the confidence loss there is actually going to be really hard. Need to get Norris to do a couple of overtakes. Basically safe overtakes in this case, so we can get that back. When you stop upgrading, how many versions of parts do you make? In terms of what do you mean stop the signing? I generally stop the signing around when I'm 30-40 million off in terms of protect the cost cap. So I have a little bit to go on in terms of in terms of doing research, but also if I need, say, a new engine, or two, a couple of new ERSs. And in terms of making how many parts I make, whenever I manufacture, I make 4 usually. So we have a little bit to go on when we have incidents. Mixed name is not in the game. I would assume it's a bug, unfortunately. I don't know why. Yeah. Tactically, I still left them all. And then run out of fuel. Got his invisibility cloak on, yeah. Need to laugh them harder for sure. That's clearly the solution. Yeah, it's looking good. Norris is having a bit of a rough time though getting the overtake done on the Hulk. Gonna use a little bit of energy here. So that front wing definitely could be a bit of a problematic thing that we're gonna have to deal with. So might need to actually just pit him in. Might be that is the best option, but as you can see here, we have another incident immediately after.
Look at the McLaren driver here. Barely any room to maneuver. Oh, and the cars there, unable to keep out of each other's way. That will have knocked their confidence, I'm sure.
It will have knocked their confidence, sure, yes. Norris has higher confidence after the last crash, but this time we're actually going to bring him in because it's major damage. So what we are going to do is just put him on the hards. Again, we're just going to go full attack on the hards here, see how that pans out. So we are getting an alternative strategy with Norris here. Probably not in the manner that we wanted, but it's going to get him there. Bucket sprints off the meds. You can probably use either. You can probably go... Keeping the softs alive with full attack can be hard if you're low smoothness, but medium you can definitely get full attack, so both of them are viable. Did Oscar win already? He did win Australia, I believe. So yeah, he has a win. Because I'm at Austin, I'm already making a 3rd version of parts. Honestly, it's fine to make many versions of the parts, you just don't need to manufacture them all. So don't worry about that, Jack. As I said, just laughing silent in the background while Norris is getting viciously assaulted. So yeah, we'll see if we can actually get Norris back up in the points in this race. Because right now it's looking... It's looking like he's going to be in trouble. How much time do I lose when tires overheat? The thing is... You lose a little bit of performance here when your tires overheat. But because we are running a higher pace mode, in this case attack, we still gain time than if we were running, say, anything lower. Like, we're still going to go quicker than if we ran standard, even with the tire overheat. And it's not a big concern there. Yeah, lose about a 10th per lap from overheating. But we gain more from running attack. Need a safety car. That would help Norris out quite a bit, but he is also running fastest out of anyone right now, getting about 9/10 per lap. So he is getting back in there, but once people start pitting, he's going to be not probably a happy camper. Lando had, yeah, but that's what I'm seeing. Lando usually doesn't do much in terms of incidents. Man's got 96 control, I think. So he doesn't really get caught up in incidents much, but when he does, he's going to have not a good time. So for Piastri, we're going to run him one more lap, and then we're going to be pitting him. So let's just get that into the order, so to speak. And we have caught up with Hulkenberg. But now comes the dangerous part, passing Hulkenberg. Sergeant Schumacher for AlphaTauri, Verstappen and Russell at Red Bull, Ocon and Sainz for Merck. Sound interesting. So we're going to come out in potentially a nice pocket there for Piastri. He has about 5 seconds left to Magnussen. And Magnussen's going to be pitting soon. Same for Russell, Show, Albon. The hard runners are probably going to do a one-stop. So we'll see what we can do with this. Tires are moderately overheating. Mike, while I have you here again, do you know if there's any difference between slight overheating, moderately overheating, and severely overheating? Because it doesn't seem to be too bad to just have them slightly overheat. Like for a high smoothness drive like Norris, you know, minor and moderate overheating just seems to generally just not be a problem I haven't seen any like huge issues with degradation. As long as your smoothness is about 85 or over. If it's below, you would generally be following the kind of trend here. But it doesn't seem like it's hitting you very hard, honestly. The Piastri is getting the overtake done. You should be fine with Russell too. The problem is going to be when we get to the Williams drivers. Yeah, that's what I've been seeing too. So I'm feeling attack is a bit too powerful for that reason, particularly on high smoothness drivers. It just gives you a little bit too much of a speed boost. Ocon and Sainz and Merc. That sounds like a fight waiting to happen. Unless you go full goofy, put it into wets on the right track. Yeah, I've seen that. I have had a couple of instances where I put the wets on a bit too soon. And that definitely is not a good time. You lose a ton of durability before it, if you put them on just even slightly before. Yeah, they're going into some wets is pretty rough. Right now, though, it's looking kind of good. Piastri is losing a little bit of time, of course, getting through the field here, but he should be getting to a level of confidence that we can just kind of put him to aggressive if we really wanted to. But he isn't really having any problems getting through the field, so there's no need for this unless he gets stuck behind someone for, say, a lap or two. So for now, we'll just leave things as they are to be on the safe side. Norris is getting back up there with his confidence, so I think we can put him up to medium and neutral. Again, he's not very high yet, he's just high, but again, there we go. So what we can do here now is to gamble on getting Norris back up into the fight, put him on high attacking confidence, do a little bit more overtake attempts. Verstappen and Leclerc Red Bull, that sounds like a nightmare to deal with, honestly. We're probably just going to run these hards to the end, and then we're just going to have to balance out with mediums. I think that is the play here for Norris. Now, for Piastri is 15 seconds behind Perez. But at the same time, Perez, once these guys do pit, we're going to be a little bit ahead. So we are running 7/10 quicker at the moment. So at the same time, 20 laps like this will be good. But we are going to be pitting again. We'll have to see if we can get Piastri back to the front if this was the best strategy. Lewis went to Ferrari in mine, and it's given me physic damage. Game has keyboard and mouse support for console, yes. So you should be able to use it, no problem. The Reese and K-Mag at Williams. Honestly, I'm very tempted to just save it actually, where we bring back Latifi, because with the saving method we kind of can. I'm tempted to do a alternate reality save where we bring back Latifi and put him and the Reese on the same team to see how that would go.
Pack is high.
Okay, that was a pretty quick recharge. We'll take that because now we do actually have a bit of a DRS train to get through here. We have Verstappen, we have Stroll, and then we have Alonso. So the quicker we get through this, the better for Piastri. Disaster challenge. The disaster challenge. That's a bit too rough. I think Piastri should be able to get by Stroll and Sainz without energy. We'll try on the straight here without using ERS, then we'll recharge if we can't. Probably gonna have to just recharge here for a lap or so. Norris back up into 10th now, doing pretty good. He's back in the points. Still got a lot of work ahead of him, but again, this incidents like this is basically why I don't dare to do two drivers and stay top 3. It'll just end up costing you money. Racing Canada, P4 to P7, crashed up, still kept the position because the rest of people slapped. That's lucky, Pete. That's pretty lucky. Rick almost always go to AlphaTauri. I don't think so. I think this was a lucky coincidence because I've seen a lot of other people there. Oh. Oh my. What have you done?
And virtual safety car deployed, virtual safety deployed.
The ERS is gone, everything is gone.
Confirm.
This is probably when we this is probably when we pit Norris for his final stint. Do we have... What exactly do we have available to us? We have another set of hards. And Norris will be able to keep those alive to the end. That is strategy A. What if we go for the medium? Norris will probably be able to keep those alive on aggressive, so... Hard is probably better on attack here. I guess we'll go for that then, because we do need to pit. So yeah, we'll go into a new set of odds, gamble a little bit.
Now that incident looks to involve Oscar Piastri.
What exactly happened with Piastri here? Probably put him a little bit too aggressive, but even then, yeah, bit of a spin. It's unfortunate. So yeah, I probably should have just played it, run him a little bit more careful. That's on me there. Instead we put him up a little bit on aggressive because he has peak confidence. He just, you know, ceases to function. So yeah, we need top 3 for the money. I think the money's out of the picture here. Because they're also going to get free pit stops there, all of them. Alonso opts to not pit. I assume that is because Stroll pitted. Gasly, yeah, it's just Gasly and Alonso ahead of us. It's gonna need to pit, so this is gonna be rough. This is gonna be rough. We need to gain about half a minute on this stint.
Virtual safety car ended.
That is gonna be really, really rough. I'm probably gonna do a scenario series at one point, but again, I'm just focusing on learning the game at this point. It doesn't do anything, but it doesn't seem to have any negative effects so far. So I'm just being lazy, leaving the settings as they are, because you are limited in how quickly you can go under a safety car. Yay. So everyone is now in the mediums, depending on degradation though. Again, Gasly is just killing his tires. He should have pitted for sure. Alonso is also going to have a bad time because, well, he is going to need to pit at one point. But yeah, we are going to... Multiple cars crash. Magnus and Gasly slowed us down. Are we going to have a safety car? So yeah, this race has definitely been a disaster class, for sure.
Every time.
Norris lost even more time now because he was behind the 2 guys that crashed. Yeah. Setting your sponsor targets for both cars is generally a recipe for disaster. You can make more money, but it requires, you know, consistency, and that just isn't happening. I'm pretty sure if you refurbish the Thor Center every time it goes to 80, you're losing money. Yeah, probably. So it's something that can be nice, but at the same time, it is going to be kind of costly. So we're going to just keep Norris on high aggression here, and if we die, we die. Honestly. So be it. And as I said, we will be going a little bit aggressive and trying to catch up, because this has been a real disaster so far. We'll have to see what we do with manufacturing. We're probably going to have to buy a new ERS because...
We don't want to overcook the tyres.
Unless I'm mistaken, he might have been running a fresh one. No, he wasn't. He was running the old one, luckily. But yeah, this is going to be a bit of an expensive crash. Hey Blasted, how are you doing? Energy cooling, brake cooling important? Yes, it is fairly... It's way more important in this game. If you have a look at the powertrain here, powertrain temperature basically has an effect on your wear for these parts. So you want to keep it within, well, the optimal temperatures here, for the most part. Engine cooling is going to have an effect on that. Brake cooling will have somewhat an effect on your tire heat. So it is nice to have, as well as your lockups. So it is a bit more important in this game, and also because it is kind of easy to get, because you can just focus it into your suspension. For brake, your side pods for engine, it's a lot easier to get done as well. Okay, Norris is now attacking Russell. So we'll deploy a little bit of energy here. We have Albon and Ocon ahead as well. Be able to attack those. Yeah, don't worry. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask, and I'll answer to the best of my ability. Okay, I think we'll harvest and just get ready to... But that is a 2-man DRS train. Albon is in it, Ocon. Probably gonna need a little bit of energy to get by them, just to be safe. Yeah, Norris here with the peak stats. Maximum cornering, almost maximum braking. It should be quick, so that's looking good. Put it back up to neutral after the main straight here. With DRS, we're gonna put it up to attack. Then we can make our way past the Williams, and then past, of course, Ocon himself. We can catch Verstappen, that would be amazing, but we have 10 laps and 15 seconds. I think that's going to be a bit too much to ask. We'll have to see what we're running in terms of lap times first to, you know, really make this make it definitive there. But as I said, probably a bit too much to ask. 10 laps, 15 seconds. Just a shame we didn't get a safety car with Piastri. It's rough when Stroll decides to take you out. I can see that being a bit of a, you know, non-optimal thing to happen. In terms of tire deck, we have to degrade our hards more than they degrade their mediums, but at the same time, this shouldn't be too much of a concern. Again, we are getting away from Ocon, we're getting away from Albon, but we are not going to be catching the top 5 here, unfortunately. This is not a first-time occurrence. Are you saying that Stroll has just been straight up murdering you in every sprint, every occasion it's been getting? Because that does sound kind of rough. Yeah, we're not really gaining on the cars in front. We're running about half a quicker than the top 2. Not much quicker than the rest here, so with 3 laps to go, no way we're catching them. We're going to have to be happy with just a 6th place this race. And that is how it just goes sometimes. He has it out for McLaren during sprints. That is how it goes, let's be honest. In this race, we have basically had 3 incidents with our drivers. Perez wins, Leclerc second, Stroll gets himself a podium. But yeah, we had 2 incidents with Norris and 1 with Piastri, so it happens. But it's been unfortunate Stroll has been doing it to you every time you can. I'm working as a teacher. Leclerc took out both Red Bulls at Austria. That sounds like a mission success. We got him. But yeah, it does happen, honestly. So Lando got 6th here. Not really anything to, you know, write home about, be happy about. Because we also failed for fastest lap. Piastri falls down to 4th. Norris retains 1st here in the championship, so not a complete loss from that perspective. But Red Bull should have gained, yeah, a good 30 points on us here. So that is, that's a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. It is a DNF. Verstappen here is also beating us with the quickest pit stop. This is unacceptable. Apparently this stat is also kind of incorrect because, well, fastest pit stop this season, I don't think we have 22 of them. So yeah. We are still leading though, with a good 100 points to Red Bull, so it's not all bad. And yeah, it is what it is. Did lose 600,000 in... you know, promises. We did lose that finish position streak for, you know, a drive in the top 3. That is just how it be. It's gonna lose us. Of course, Piastri crashes down and levels up for it. I've been teaching for a good 5 years. It's not too long. Better leave it on attack again, like in the first S22 game. If you have a high smoothness driver, you're going attack for the entire race is definitely viable, and it's going to be pretty quick. Aston Martin had a rather shocking start to Season 2, not contested any podiums until the Austria Sprint. That should help you out. We're just going to lead the tour center there. We have a lot of money now, though, that we could use for upgrades. I say, as we have a car that is virtually broken to pieces. So we'll see exactly what we do with that. ERS kind of broken. Behrman wins, doing second, Mini third. Saucy, Frederick, and Solov. Not too many surprises there. Edo Cohen is a talent apparently that we should invest in, they think. Cadilla's low morale. Which will severely impact contract negotiations. Well, shame for him because he has a contract for the next 5 years. So if it's just contracts, we can deal with that. The car part inspection results, we destroyed. We basically need to replace this entire car. The only thing that survived was side pods. So this is going to be a bit of an engineering marvel, so to speak. There we go. Again, we do need to probably manufacture things here and catch up to the destruction, so to speak. We have on Monaco in 4 days. So, well, with that in mind, we are just gonna... I think we're gonna aim at the rear wing being safe there. Could, of course, put this one on both cars. Yeah, the new engine cooling one. That's basically, again, we are sacrificing a lot of high speed here for basically a lot of engine cooling. That's the way that I'm understanding it. Well, with the differences, yeah, this one is probably better. I don't understand exactly what I've been planning there, but that is okay. Failed underfloor, replace. Manufacture a new one. New suspension. Yeah, we're going to be putting these on the cars for Monaco for sure. And we'll have a look at what our stats look like once we get to the race weekend itself. We have one more manufacturer slot that we can use for that rear wing, I think. I'm just going to double check that we have everything else under production. Chassis is also something we could do, so we'll just do that. And again, rear wing is pretty quick to make, so it's not a big concern. So yeah, we have caught up on the damage now. Also the same with Leclerc. Just about ran out of fuel. Oh, that is painful. Stroll isn't actually that bad. I know a lot of people, you know, don't like him, but he will get the job done for Aston because you have a quick car to begin with. So you don't necessarily need to sack him, but it's up to you. If you want to switch him out, feel free. You did not. I don't know what you leveled up, but I have a feeling it might have adaptability again, which would be funny. We'll see at the end of the month. Side pod design is complete. Let's see if this is going to be an upgrade or not. And it is going to be... Okay, so this is the other version we made with less engine cooling. There we go. Now it makes more sense. We probably aren't going to use this one, though, because right now we don't need to. We are going to be... We're leading the championship. If you need to sacrifice some cooling to, you know, get a little bit more performance, we will later on. But now, though, I'm not too concerned about that. And we are going to be focusing a little bit more into the research for next year, because everything is getting hit here with a 5% change. So we are going to have to try and make up for that. But we can also do a little bit something like this for the front wing, just to show how busted the sliders are. And we'll just keep one engineer on each of the projects, which means that we could fire some of them temporarily. But I don't think we are going to have a need for that. So we're going to try one driver, top 3 again for 5 races, and see if we can get some of the money we lost back. Fastest lap, going to potentially be a bit of a challenge at Monaco, but I think we can do it. That should be alright. Stroll is a pillar of adequacy.
Welcome
yeah.
to one of the biggest weekends.
He'll do the job just about okay. I haven't actually checked, but how long of a contract does Stroll have? Because how much does it actually cost to fire him? Because I feel like if you fire him, you should just lose like most of your money as well. Because Papa Stroll is just gonna straight up stroll out. I feel if you do that. Yeah, where is Monte Carlo? There you are. Need to have a look at the setup here. I got uncertain, but this does look kind of like I remember. There we are. Let us sim through practice. The 4-year deal, yeah, it could be kind of expensive to replace. The reason why Lando has less fuel is related to smoothness, funnily enough. Your smoothness allows you to start with less fuel in the car and still get through the race. So that is why he has slightly less fuel in practice. And that is why you'll also have less fuel for the race itself. Get a little bit, see if that's better. Try this, see how that works out for us. Hello, Thanos. That is one heck of an entrance. You been to the movies? Stroller has a lifetime contract? Yeah, I think he has a lifetime contract as long as his dad's pulling the shots though. But it's funny because basically everyone is saying that Stroll could be like he has flash of brilliance, but he probably has been kind of molded under the same pressure that other F1 drivers has because of the money aspect, and that is fair. And let's be honest, if a paid driver, he isn't the worst we've seen. I don't know exactly who that title will go to. Figure something out here. I think this is okay for Lando. Move this pad to the left like so. I think this is acceptable. Again, don't really know the brake stability, but this should keep it above 90%, so it's not a big concern. But yeah, I'm very happy that the ERS he busted wasn't the main ERS, but that gearbox though. Don't like that damage. But yeah, it is what it is. I think they're both fairly equal now on paths destroyed. Pretty much, honestly, so it's fine. Okay, let's see how the qualifying goes there. Piastri is underrated, tempted to replace him after the first season. He does have a tendency to crash a lot too, so it's fully understandable that people want to, you know, replace him. Latifi is the worst paid driver. I wanted to watch Oppenheimer, but they gave me Bob instead. Latifi is the worst paid driver. I think you've misspelled best. Thanos. The people are just really ready to fight here. Stroll's still pretty young, yeah. Still pretty shit. I love the paid driver debate because it's people just being completely savage. I think I won, but he never reached F1. Who has been F1's worst paid driver? Let us think. Yo, my driver crash over race. Any tips? Go into the tactics menu and set the risk to low. Honestly, don't let him crash. Yeah, there isn't too much you can do there. Honestly, all you can do is just try and do your best to minimize risks. In terms of crashing from lockups, spins, get your brake cooling up. The guys from Williams, do you mean Latifi? I think we're safest, we're just gonna speed through this quali. I'm surprised that Williams is struggling here to get out of, well, I guess they are better at high speed, high top speed, high speed corners track, so I guess it does make sense, honestly. Ferrari potentially being a bit good here. Maldonado. Just load up an old save, forgot to save, so send me back half a season. That is painful, Reese. Just joined, is that Invisible Man? It's Mick Schumacher. Fast but reckless. Inconsistent. You can force him start at the back, yeah, as Mike says. You can basically do worse in qualifying and boost your confidence by overtaking worse drivers. That'll help to lower their chance. This is the last South American race winner. Back to Monaco instead of Singapore. Well, we're currently on the same race then, if you ended up back here. You can retire both cars to reduce their chance of crashing to zero.
Should be starting there.
Yeah, you guys all woke up to the inch of violence, didn't you? Every race I do that, lap 1 retirement. It might be a way to save components for sure. But yeah, I wonder how long you could do that without getting fired.
Drive to the Delta.
And we box this lap.
Like,
All the
score some
cars.
points for a midfield
good.
team in the first race, and how many could you just
Delta negative
sit
at the
out
end of the lap.
before they decide to
Keep your
fire you?
pace up on the in lap.
Yep, copy.
We're just setting up it in case we need to go out again. I think we're safe though. Maybe. Because again, I don't think the Haas is going to beat us. I don't think the AlphaTauri are going to beat us. And I don't think Ocon is going to beat us. So I think we are really, really safe here and don't need to go out again. Every day I wake up and choose violence. Reminds me of that... of a different quote about that. Basically, dude just says violence is not the answer, I think. And the response he got in return was, of course not. It's a question, and the answer is yes. As long as you achieve the season objective, you can sit out every race. So yeah, just have one good result and then relax, develop your car. The only negative about that is that you aren't going to be getting money from sponsor objectives. Ragu Nathan, yeah. When you say Ragu Nathan, the thing that haunts me about that is still the clip of him just being stuck. I think it is as Baku, and he just can't get the car back out on track.
Okay, Oscar. So the track will go green now.
Only if you're the first in the standings and the board objective is mid-table. Okay. Okay, we're gonna do another run here with pressure tires. So we did the confidence building one. Confidence is very high, but we'll just send them out with one more. First one should build it a little bit again, and then they should do the final one on peak. Go fine from Aston. Yeah, they really hate death in this game. It's just like if you go to death, you can basically have won everything, but nah, we don't like that. Never ever going to death. You will regret it 100% of the time, and the board won't forgive you for a year. Yeah. Like even if you have to have your driver sit out for a few GPs, just don't do it. Honestly, Mike, I feel like that shouldn't be a problem. It should be something for drivers to manage. But like, if you are, let's say you are set a debt ceiling at 5-10 million. Once you hit that 10 million debt ceiling, it's that if you hit cost cap, you're not allowed to develop anymore. You're not allowed to research. But up until that point, you'll, as I said, might need to pay a little bit, and I won't be able to time it to do another run. You're of course gonna have to pay for having that debt, but it shouldn't define your entire career that, oh, you went 3 million into debt, we now hate you. The board will just send an assassin after you. But yeah, that mechanic can definitely also get kind of an extension. Okay, so not the best qualifying here in Monaco. Should probably have waited a little bit to send them out for the second run. But it is acceptable. I once went into debt for a day. You borrow $50 for lunch, and then well, that's probably a little bit too much. You borrow $20 for lunch, and then the board decided that, nah, we don't like you no more. Okay, so what I'm thinking is that we're gonna start on softs. We're gonna go a bit more aggressive here with the strategy: soft, medium, soft. Or we could go soft, soft, soft. And this can actually work really well at Monaco, funnily enough. Although we need to probably tune down that medium stint. Or, you know, turn it into a hard stint to make this work. Like so. Could also do the same for these two other stints. For Norris, this shouldn't actually be a problem, because again, he has pretty low tire deck to begin with. So he should have no problem making this work, and it should be a tad bit quicker than the other strategies. The AI, I've basically seen the AI do this here too, so it should be good. When does the board of any business care about? Yeah, so that is, again, there's so many things that they kind of should have probably revisited for this year's game, but they just haven't yet, so it's a bit of a shame. I think for Piastri, we're just going to do the same strategy, honestly. And we're probably just going to have to, as I said, manage him a bit more. But he still should be able to pull this off. Just about. So yeah, we'll go for the same one. And of course we're going to go full attack from the get-go. No reason not to. And as you can see here, because smoothness difference, Lando starts with 1.1 kilograms less fuel. Once Lando do better in real life, you need a rule that all champs will go to the weakest team in the following. I think F1 Manager could be really fun to like compete with other cars on. But just imagine the mayhem if you crash out a friend of yours by putting your tactics risks to maximum. Taking out your friend would be hilarious, and at the same time probably break friendships. I think it could be fun, but it would of course require the netcode to be good. Because if it isn't, you're gonna have a bad time.
We're here and the streets are abuzz at the Monaco Grand Prix.
Let's see if we can actually get up the grid and improve. I see some medium banding out front. So Rick and Hulkenberg has chosen to do the same that we have. The rest have not. So it's gonna be a bit interesting here from the get-go. I think it could be a fun and enjoyable experience, but I don't think it's going to be, again, probably not the focus for at least a few more years. Okay, we already have an incident involving Albon. Looks like everyone is still running, though. Team on teammate violence, eh? Just completed the Austria exclusive scenario. How did you do that? Was it good? Frank can be at the same computer as you. You could probably do it with each person managing a driver. You probably could again. You could probably do it also with what's it called? I don't remember what it's called, but there is a way to play like local co-op games over the internet on Steam. And unless I have this completely wrong and remember wrong, but I believe there is a way to do that. So you could definitely do that and manage a driver each. Could be doable. But at the same time, you're probably not gonna be as fun as managing 2 different teams. Took your advice, pushed on the harder tires, and with the front wing change immediately managed to win with Max. Yeah, attack is very, very effective. That's it. Now we do need to try and get up the grid here. As I said, we are running soft tires, they're running mediums, so if we can't, we're actually gonna have a bad time. I don't think our car is very well suited to Monaco. Unfortunately, we're still lacking the front medium speed. That's gonna hurt a bit. Is Verstappen basically a cheat code? To some degree. Like, he has the best driver stats, so he will automatically give you a car a boost from that. And he is still fairly young, so he will actually develop pretty quickly as well. Yeah. What would actually be amazing, though, is probably 2, maybe 3, 4, 5 even years down the line, if they continue making yearly iteration of this game. We'd probably end up at a point where you could play multiplayer by team, where each of you make your own team. 12 teams on the grid, for instance. That would be mayhem. And just imagine the shenanigans you would have if you, say, sent out your car to block their car in quali. We'd have so much molding. It would be kind of amazing. So for now, we're just going to have Norris recharge for a lap. We'll be going aggressive. And then we'll try and overtake Sainz. And then we'll try and hunt down the rest of the grid here. We'll do basically the exact same thing for Piastri. But yeah. I still have hopes for the game. But it is a bit... it's a bit difficult at times, honestly. Okay, so Norris is losing confidence here from being stuck behind Castle Monaco, which isn't a big surprise. I see the AI struggle to overtake here, so honestly, we probably should see way more crashing.
Yep.
Gonna harvest for Piastri, harvest for Norris here, couldn't get by. Probably need to turn it up to full attack to get by here. So we'll just harvest, we'll reset, and then we'll do full attack and attempt the overtake. What time am I finishing stream? Probably after this race. I have something I need to be at in a couple of hours, so probably don't have time for anything more after this. So it's going to be this race only that we are done for at least today. And I have to see if I stream tomorrow. It's a bit of a weekend where I'm kind of busy. What exactly happened to Piastri? Well, I was looking at chat. Piastri fell back hard.
We don't want to overcook the tyre.
Yeah, confirm.
I am fine with overcooking the tires. Don't listen to him, Lando. It's so dark. I can't see where we're going. I've had a lot of those crashes in the beginning blasted, but for me, most of those have seemed to have been fixed. The thing is, when you're already at the top of development, Pete, that is still a pretty good rating because you can still get even better. That is the insanity of it. So, yeah. That's basically, as I said, that's insanity. You can go even better from there. And then immediately Ferrari with fresh tires, got 1-2 in qualifying, then fueled up for the rest of the session. Put on the hards and looked everyone. Could also be a console issue. I believe I don't know if they released the latest patch for, crash fixes for console, because it's usually a couple of days off the PC. Tire temps does affect lap time. According to Mike, it's not a lot, it's about a tenth or so. But running attack or aggressive does make up for that, so with that in mind, it's actually a net positive to run higher attack modes, even if you do cook the tires a bit. So yeah, they probably are gonna need to tune that up in the future to make it be more costly to burn your tires. I see that my microphone is kind of maxing out, so hopefully I'm not breaking your ears. Apologies if that is the case. Again, let me know if anything is wrong with the stream. I'll try and fix it. But it seems like it's been pretty stable today, which is good to see. Okay, Norris is now catching up to the cars in front. It's not going to be too long until we pit. We are going to harvest though again, and then we're going to be pushing once we get to the main straight. But with ERS, sorry, we can probably overtake another place of track too. Now Piastri is probably going to need to be tuned down to standard to make it to the, the zone that we want to get to. Well, the lap. So he's going to have a little bit of a bad time. Same if Norris kind of running out of energy. No robot today? Yeah. Overheated tires is... I just need to have a look at this. Overheated tires is a 10 slower. Aggressive orange is a half a tenth. Attack red is a second. So yeah. That is, again, that is massive gain. There's no need for you to, really worry about overheating your tires if you're running a higher attack mode. So we're going to get Piastri in this lap, I think. Well, next lap, basically. We're going to be pushing him for a lap. Then we're going to get Norris in the lap after. That should be okay. We're going to be falling way down, but I think we should be able to make our way up, so it won't be too much of a problem. Things have been gotten a lot easier as I've been learning how things have been, actually functioning. So it's become less challenging, but a lot of these, advantages is due to, I think, not optimal balancing. So it cannot be fixed. The game can become difficult again once these things are rebalanced and some of the bugs fixed, for sure. So Piastri came out in a good window. Norris is going to come out in potentially a good window here too. So not the worst of our pit stops here. Bit slow, unfortunately, which probably didn't actually cost us anything in terms of lap position. Or track position, not lap position, whatever you're saying. That is okay. We're up to 10 for Piastri. We're going to tune him down to aggressive. We're also going to give him deploy here so that he can catch up to Tsunoda and get by him. Should be fairly simple to do that within a lap or so, hopefully. And for Norris, he's up to temp 2, so we'll tune him down to aggressive so we can keep the tires alive. Am I driving to work on my bicycle? No. I live pretty close to where I work, so I usually walk. It's about 5 minutes. Might need to just go attack on Piastri so he can actually get by. And he does have very high confidence, so against my better judgment, we are going to risk it. Because we are going to have to try and get by, and getting stuck by another car is going to be kind of a death sentence.
Pack is low.
Yeah.
Tune him down a little bit while we recharge, and we'll try again on actually this lap, just right away. Keep it neutral until the main straight, and we should be good. Norris has also caught up to his adversary here with Ferris, so we'll give him the deploy now, and he actually gets him before main straight, which is good. And we won't have too much energy here for Piastri, but we'll give him what we can. I also forgot to put on the battle assist, so we'll do that, try that. But yeah, Tsunoda being a bit of a wall right now for us, which is not great. We'll see if we can get by. And Theo, sorry, I do upload my streams. They're all available on my channel. How much slow is at tires below 30%? Yeah, I'd also be more worried about tires exploding. Basically puncture. I'd agree with Mike there. It seems pretty common to just have your tires straight up explode. They're going to be quite a bit slower as well. But the main concern is that your tires are just going to go poof. And then you'll be in more trouble than if, just being slow. There we go. Piastri manages to get Tsunoda. That did probably cost us quite a lot of time. So it's a bit unfortunate for him. For Stroll, for Norris though, he is getting closer to the other cars in front, and again, they are going to have to pit at one point. Alonso and Stroll actually already have. They're going to be on those hards to the end. But we are running quicker than them, provided, of course, that we can get by. It's going to be a problem there with the DRS strain. Podium and random pole so far in Season 1 on Alpine? No, I'd say that is acceptable, Supersonic, honestly. That's not bad at all. Not bad at all. Who is poking me on Discord? It's only with the Leclerc picture. Okay. I'm about half an hour late about that, sorry. But I just need to have a quick look. Yeah, nice. Actually, very nice with the libraries you have put up. So yeah, Norris he's actually gone to Stroll while I looked away. That is a bit embarrassing. But Norris is basically doing kind of a good job here on his own. We can deploy ERS just to stay closer to that Ferrari. And potentially get the overtake done here pretty quick soon. Give it tack here too for the last few corners. And for Norris here, we probably can run attack down to the end, no problem. So we'll do that. So Norris is looking really promising here. He should be able to get by Alonso. Get a little bit of a gap there going. And we'll be doing that last pit stop later on. Piastri now also has a little bit of free air, so we can probably tune him to aggressive 2 to the end. Should be good. That should make our life a little bit easier. Yeah, sorry Ollie. I don't really pay attention to Discord or anything else while I'm streaming, so it took a while for me to notice that the shining one. Pete, if you want to know the difference, the expected difference between compounds, you can actually do it for every circuit over here. You can go into circuit info and the expected compound performance here. So for Monaco, you can expect softs to do about 1.126 average lap time, and mediums 12.9, hards 13.2. So about a 3/10 difference between them. And here we have the degradation numbers as well. So for softs to become equal to mediums, let's say that you have a driver starting on softs, another driver starting on mediums, they both run standard, they both have equal smoothness. It'll take about 15 laps before those mediums and softs become equal on lap time. And then after that, the mediums will start being quicker. So yeah, you can check this for every track as you see fit, but they have kind of rebalanced it this year. Last year, for instance, in Singapore, you could basically run soft tires and lap the whole grid with no problems. It's a slight acceleration, but that's basically how it was. On some tracks, certain compounds were really, really powerful to the point where you'd manually take control of practice just to save more sets of that compound. Coda was one of them, saving extra hards. But this year it seems to be more rebalanced, so you can kind of just sim practice without having to worry about your tires too much. So that is kind of neat as well. Don't worry, I didn't expect you to. That's fair. But I'll have a look at the liveries you linked, because they do look pretty neat, honestly. Does look pretty nice. So Norris is going to have a bit of a fight now with good old Alonso. We're going to be deploying here just so we can stay pretty close. And we'll try and get the overtake done and then run away. Apparently we are a tad slow there out of that corner. Well, Alonso is just really aggressive on the defense. So what we can do is actually turn down our tire temp a little bit. It's not going to help us super much, but it should give us a little bit more of an... actually, what we want. It's a strategy that I've used sometimes to great effect. It's just tuning down your tires a little bit and then go full attack again. It seems like the AI just calms down a bit then. But it's kind of hard to estimate, so it could just be me with some confirmation bias because it has worked the times I've done it. But overtake generally, you know, gets done anyway, so... yeah, it could just be me having a bit of hopium. Okay. See now if we can get Norris past Alonso. He's being a little bit of a roadblock. There's the tires here. We should be pitting in around 10 laps. So we do also need to get by him to, you know, have definite decent amount of tire left. Try and get a little bit of a gap at least before we go into the softs. This looks a little bit more promising. There we go. Let's keep on pushing so we stay ahead. And we actually had a bit of a fight there. But we will keep on pushing pushing the energy a little bit. Try and pull outside that DRS range before we get to the main straight here. And we have. So for now, we just need to get away from Alonso, build a little bit of a gap, and then we should be good. Driver regression a lot, or is it just my save? I think it has a lot to do with also the performance, particularly for the older drivers. I don't remember how much Alonso has regressed here, but I think it was by a couple of points last season. So driver regression is definitely a thing, and it can definitely hit hard. Well, after everyone except Russell and Verstappen in Austria really decided to save file. Yeah, as I said, for particularly the AlphaTauri speedrun thing, we might need to start some limitations there on the usage of, you know, attack mode maybe. Do it a little bit more realistic, kind of respect overheating, if you will. And see if we still retain, you know, kind of a best team. Because I think the AI does respect, kind of the overheating thing. I don't know if we can see lap temp, tire temps here. So this is what we're running. We can actually have a look at that. You can see Norris is running 120 degrees on full attack. Piastri is running 110 on basically, you know, aggressive. And the tire temps say 125 is severely overheating. So he's running the limit on the overheat here. Let's see if the AI actually does overheat the tires on purpose. I would assume that they do not. So for the hard run here, they definitely are not overheating them. Same for the medium. As you can see, Verstappen is kind of running them even cooler than we are. He did have a little bit of an aggressive stint here in the middle, but they generally do respect the tire temps, except for the start of the race. Of course, they do push all out then. But yeah, particularly also on the hards here. I think 115 for the hards is going to be overheating them. So they definitely do respect it. Way more than we do. Let's put it like that. So again, aggressive since the beginning. Cool them down a little bit. Calmer. And then some aggressive stints before pitting. And I think we're going to be seeing this for most teams here. Like for even Hamilton here, he didn't even go that aggressive on his in-lap. In terms of tire temps, didn't even overcook the tires at all, except for in the beginning. Thank you, Ninke. Appreciate it. Yeah. And just swap up for practice, that might be a bit harsh, but with how things are this year, with as Mike figured out, with the difference between an engine, you know, the yellow part just being about a 10, it's not too punishing. The charge column? This one? It's your battery. It's basically how much charge they have left in the battery once they cross the finish line. So as you can see here, this is the battery. And in the case of Leclerc here, last lap when he crossed the finish line, he had 1.8 left to use. Sorry, it's not the battery left. It's the use. It's how much they have left to use of the battery, because you're allowed to use 2 of them. Is it? Nah, I'm actually a little bit confused there. It says charge, so there's a couple options here. It's either, you know, how much they used, it's or either that or how much they recharged last lap, which I guess could make sense so that they don't recharge if they don't use. So I would assume that this is the recharge tab. Yes, I would assume that. So out of the 2 they were allowed to recharge last lap, science recharged 1.9, I think. I might be wrong. I'm probably wrong, Mike, aren't I? Can you tell me what to do in a race for beginners? How to keep it simple until getting used to the game? Generally, you can set up. You want to set up your strategy first. Usually 2 stoppers do work out pretty well. You can run aggressive attack. I know that red number is scary, but it's usually good. But you can honestly remember the best thing you can do for this game, probably for your enjoyment, is probably just error and try yourself. See what works, see what doesn't. You'll probably fail, you might get fired, but I think you'll have a lot more fun that way. But generally, you can run. Again, let me know. I haven't heard anyone be able to explain how the... Yeah, because the thing is, it doesn't cap out at 4, so it's not your battery. It shouldn't be. And as you can see, deployed also caps out at 4, so I would assume it's how much they harvested that lap. It's the only thing that really makes sense for that one, now that I think about it, because I haven't really thought about this one too much. The first thing I would have thought, of course, is that, oh, it's the battery. But I would assume, with how the other battery stats works, that this is actually how much they recharged last lap in terms of energy. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. And it seems like they're about to... Well, we're running kind of negative on the energy there, but that's fine. Sorry, on the fuel. I would assume that is what it means, Mike. That's the only thing that makes sense. You're tripping just like I did? Yeah, it's basically because I think I know how it works, and then I realize, wait, that doesn't make sense, and then I'm backtracking. And then I go back and forth until I get to the, hopefully, correct answer. But even then, I'm sometimes wrong, so go back and forth a lot. Top 3 now corners, but once I assign research, the AI will catch up. Jack, the way that the AI actually does their car is that they will add new parts up until race day. So you need to do car analysis on the race weekends to get an accurate representation of where you're at versus the AI. So that could definitely be why they're catching up. Yeah. I don't know though, that ERS column, Mike, it's gonna be a bit wonky, maybe. Strategies are fun to experiment with, indeed. I usually design 4 of each part, Leonard, unless I'm planning to immediately redesign it. Then I'll probably make 2 or 3. How do I make a good car? I don't understand any of it. There is a guide in the description made by Mike. Read it at your own risk, though. You might understand too much if you read it, but generally, the gist is just to, if you have a little money, do standard designs. You can maximize stats to one or the other direction, make specialized parts. But generally, just experiment, Benjamin, and you'll probably learn it pretty quickly, honestly. You'll have a lot more fun that way. Just trying to find when I should stop upgrading and start research. As said, Jack, for me, a general rule of thumb is when I have about between 20 and 40 million left in my cost cap. If I... Oh, virtual safety car. Perfect. Of course, unless we have crashed. So where is Piastri? Piastri is actually on his way to get to the pits here, so that is perfect for him. We are going to try and pit Norris here too, of course, with this virtual safety car. Schumacher with a crash. Quite interesting, you can see Schumacher's name up there, but you can't see it in the other one. Oh. I feel like for that one, they should have just put in Schumacher's radio where it just says beep, 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 beep.
Other people are hitting the walls. So there is a lot of debris, and the car still on the left-hand side.
24
so
Alpha Tower will be decent with the RB19 parts.
Right.
Honestly, it's kind of hard to estimate, but
Yes,
it's
everyone is
gonna be
okay.
interesting for sure. Race weekend starting grids, yeah, that works. That's a good shout, Nick. Yeah. Can you get 60 overall drivers to top only by having a good car? It's going to require you to have a really good car, but potentially, yeah. How do you make a good car? I don't understand it. Again, Benjamin, there is a guide in the description of the video. You can have a look at that. But generally, you are going to have to design new parts, and depending on how you do things, it could be a good idea to specialize those parts. Everyone is going to be pitting here, I think. Yeah, Alonso pits as well. A lot of them actually I elected not to pit, but considering that we're not done with our pit stops and running 3rd and 8th, this is pretty much probably a done deal. Norris they should have no problem getting by these 2 hard runners. The problem is if they're going to come back at us towards the end. Yes, I pitted both of them, Jack, don't worry.
Virtual safety car ending.
Schumacher should be the one crashing the most. After that, would not be allowed to run. the RB Chassis, no. But they'll be allowed to buy some Red Bull cars, like
DRS has been enabled.
basically like Haas is currently doing with Ferrari. They're buying some of the Ferrari parts, so they don't have to make them themselves. Actually, running the tires a bit cooler. Let's heat them up by going attack. We'll have to see just how high we can get Piastri here. He's kind of in a, you know, not optimal situation right now. But he did get fastest lap, so we'll take that. Yeah, it should be worth a stego. It'll help you out in the long run. Landing a pole and Sambo the monster. Well done, Ben. Honestly, that's pretty good. Norris has already caught up to the cars in front. With that, we'll give him the ERS, see if we can get away. Get ourselves by them. Yeah, this is season 2. Sarah. Back with Lewis and Paul in my first Merc season. Is the curb tactic usable in a sprint as well? It should be. But then again, the sprints don't really have that much tire degradation to begin with. So you could probably use it early on, as long as you don't get left behind by, say, a DRS train, to just save a little bit of tire wear. Then turn it off, say, a third or so in, if you really wanted to. But yeah, Norris is having trouble with Stroll. Stroll being a defensive genius right now. Yeah, basically that's Niank is saying. What's the best research you can do to make your car better for Season 2? Just whatever the regulations are hitting, honestly. Just try and cancel out your regulation changes and you'll usually be, you know, in a very good position for Season 2, honestly. That should be your main focus with research. There we go, we got Stroll now and already we've done about 2 seconds on him.
We don't want to overcook the tyres.
They're looking good. Yeah, Piastri was not doing well for me either, Ben, during the first season, but he's been doing a little bit better now. He's still behind, but he is getting more overall. So hopefully we can have him keep on improving. Let's see if we can actually get by Verstappen here without suffering too much pain. There we are. That was pretty painless, honestly. Now, Piastri is going to be basically what we'll be focusing on next here. Car in the wall. Albon has crashed. Can we see the standings? I'll show you Ninky after the race here.
Red flag,
And we have a safety car.
Now here, we're taking turn 6. Not a
What,
lot of wiggle room
what
here.
exactly are they doing? Was that my car involved? That's it too? Norris! What exactly happened here? Ninka, did you just jinx me so hard? Yeah, this was a bruh moment. Yeah, the AI does rather poorly on research in particular. I need to actually go back and have a look at what happened here, because that didn't make much sense to me, personally. And the timing was kind of bad, because Piastri was about to start doing his overtakes. So I assume Verstappen crashed into us? No, we had... Landed got the penalty. What exactly happened?
The drivers are lined up, awaiting the lights.
Didn't leave?
And it's lights out.
Well, we were the one with the penalty, so technically we crashed. Yeah, I don't know how we're gonna do this, but we're gonna try our best. So Piastri had probably the worst start in history. Albon crashed in turn 5, which would be... we have a look at the turns here. He crashed over here. The problem was here. After the hairpin, there was some ping pong going on. So, I honestly don't know what happened. That looked a bit weird, but Verstappen is out, we are out, we got a penalty. Let's see, events. Fast lap, and then suspended. That doesn't tell me much. Yeah, I don't know particularly what happened because I, of course, had a look at chat the second it did happen. And as I said on the replay, it just looks like we were playing ping pong, going back and forth. So about 10 laps to go here. Can Piastri climb up any higher than 8th? Again, we were sponsoring for 3rd, so this is kind of painful again. Yeah, he is aggressive in overtake. We are gambling there. We are going to be doing everything we can here, even though, again, it's probably not going to be enough. We'll see. Since Norris got the penalty, I can for certain say that Verstappen crashed into Norris. Well, honestly, I think I have the thing on where you can go back in the stream and have a look. So if anyone really wants to, I'd really like to just, you know, see exactly what happened. I don't know if you can clip YouTube streams, but might just make that into... Maybe that's what I should start doing. I should start making shorts of weird crashes. Because that looked like they were playing ping pong. But Piastri is getting back the positions he lost from the restart, so that is at least a positive. But yeah, I'm flabbergasted and confused all at once. It could be. I don't know. I don't know why Mick is invisible, honestly. They haven't given us any particular reason. It did look really weird, Nick, I agree. We could potentially have Oscar on the podium here, but knowing that it's... but having you say that fills me with fear. Oscar. My Oscar, do the best you can. The main problem here is actually going to be getting the overtakes done because it's a very long DRS train. Who's my favorite driver? Honestly, I've said this in earlier streams, but I flip-flop a lot. So I've been enjoying Alonso particularly early this season. Now I've been going more into Piastri territory, so maybe a little bit of fanboying, but honestly, I just enjoy... you know, good racing. Seeing that, so again, probably a bit fanboyish of me, but I do switch around quite often. Mick does like Harry Potter, that's how simple it is. I didn't think Piastri would get Stroll that easily, so this is a surprise but a welcome one. Let's see if we can get Paris as well. Piastri's just gonna have his last performance there in Monaco with 10 laps to go. Norris crashed, yeah. Norris had some sort of weird wizardry happening in this corner a couple of laps ago. You can probably go back in the stream and have a look, Waldo, if you want to. They ran into runoff at the, turn before the slowest one. Well, we have the hairpin here, and then we have the turn here. I believe this is... Again, it's kind of weird with that one. This is turn 1, this would be turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, turn 5, turn 6, I believe. So turn 6, turn 7, some shenanigans happened. Albon crashed in turn 5, I believe, unless the hairpin counts as turn 5. So, yeah, it's kind of a weird one. Okay, so Piastri is getting there. I think we're going to go in the attack this lap. He's getting very close to Paris. Lando and Max crashed at turn 5. Okay, so was Albon responsible? Did he cause it by crashing himself to begin with? Was he the source of the problems? Nashville? Probably not, honestly. Probably won't have time. But I do watch other racing, mainly rally now and again. So, probably not going to watch Nashville, unfortunately. Let's see. I'm probably going to go back in the stream myself and have a look later. But as I said, I'm going to have to run pretty soon. Can obviously have free practice 1 next race. Yes, I do tend to forget, William, unfortunately. Hello. But I will be ending the stream after this one. Unfortunately, I have to run. But I will try and make a mental note of it. But you know how forgetful I can be. I think if we want to fight for the podium, we're probably going to have to recharge for this lap. And maybe half of next, and then try and get close to Leclerc for an overtake. Although, if Leclerc is running outside of the DRS, then we might have a chance this lap. I had one race with no crashes, then they need to reduce crashes next patch. Potentially. Albon's crash was Ferrari's master plan. It's the only way Ferrari is going to win Monaco. And even then, it's not going to be Leclerc winning. That's cruel. That's cruel and unusual punishment right there. Okay, we're on the final lap.
This will be the last lap.
Let's see what we can do here. Might be a little bit too soon to deploy, but basically the only chance we're going to have now is going to be this stretch right here, I think. So we need to try and get as close as possible for the next turn. So we can potentially launch an attack, but I think Leclerc is pushing now too, pretty aggressively. And that's just going to make it difficult. Just ban you from your streams now, don't worry about it. It keeps it kind of interesting too with the crashes, because honestly my AlphaTauri playthrough has been kind of boring because of it. So I'll take it. One very crashy save and one pretty much peaceful one at this stage. Although Tsunoda has been starting to destroy things. Unfortunately, Piastri not really able to get Leclerc here. But we'll still take it.
Okay, that's the checker flag.
I would kind of like them to just add a race replay save.
Wasn't it an excellent showing from Oscar Piastri?
Well, I could jump in and just see what exactly happened there, because that looked, as I said, very wonky. It did look like a little bit of pinball back and forth. We can run hard sun tank without him overheating. That's crazy. Yeah, sometimes you can do that, but it's also reliant on air temperature and track temperature. Yeah, Piastri gets 4th. It's not a bad result. Ferrari catches up a little bit to Red Bull. Alonso gets 2nd place. And with the driver championship, Lando is still leading. Piastri moves up to 3rd again. A couple of points ahead of Perez. And Sainz actually overtakes Leclerc, even though they're equal on points. But, well, Sainz has a race win. Leclerc does not. Season 2 had to get rid of Oscar. No, it was probably stupid, but he was finishing out of the points. Orlando was on podium every race. And constructors were really tied and needed more. That's fair, honestly. It is what it is sometimes. This, let's face it, racing can be really cutthroat in that manner, so it's not a big surprise. But yeah, we are still leading. Honestly, still looking good, but Red Bull has been coming back the last few races, and depending on upgrades there, they probably could give us a fight towards the end of the season, because we are going to be doing a lot of research mainly. Because we are getting hit by that 5% across the board in everything. So, in terms of what we want to do, research is probably just the best option there for preparing for next season. But it could also make us incredibly overpowered next season to the point where, again, things probably might not be fun. So we'll see exactly how that pans out. DHL, fastest pit stop award. Perez managed to squeeze himself in between. So Red Bull is catching up with us there. And as I said, Norris did have that slow pit stop, but those errors are so rare that I don't think it's much of a problem. But we did once again lose 600,000 from failing the finish position streak, so yeah, this one's starting to become a little bit expensive. We might need to tune it up to, say, 5th to be safe, but yeah, it is what it is. Got a few pieces done here, just a few, 3 of them. I do want to see just how we're looking for Piastri. Now, this is actually a pretty good one now that we are back on standard designs. The design center effectiveness plus 50%. It allows us to get drag reduction boost, airflow boost, sensitivity boost, basically everything here. And it gives us 2 more projects and 5 more engineers. So we're actually going to go ahead and approve this budget this time around. It's probably the first time I'm going to do it, but it's actually pretty good once you're on standard and you actually have a bit of money. So we're going to do that. Probably manufactured. Car part inspection results. We have destroyed 4 pieces. That gearbox is gone. The ERS is basically broken. The engine took a hit. Yeah, that was a... I want to see what happened because this seems to be a pretty hard hit. So, yeah, that does seem kind of problematic. And with the hit we had last run too, I'm wondering if we actually have enough parts to, you know, make up for this. Because the typos failed on both. We are going to definitely have to do some manufacturing, and we are in the middle of a triple header. So, yeah, this is potentially not very good. And that is 2 gearboxes gone by Monaco. That is both ERSs gone by Monaco. And that is the second engine too, virtually gone by Monaco. So Norris this year is probably going to be a bit expensive, but we do have more cost cap to play with, I feel like, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. And we might take advantage of the 2 extra slots here that didn't show up yet. We probably have to wait a day to get a response for that, I think. And then we work with that. Yeah, but this is going to be the final by the end of the stream. Yuda. Thanks for streaming. See you next time. Yeah, I'll see you all next time. Email is broke for me. The sign says not 100%. You won't get the additional slots. Really? That would be, I think I understand why. Okay, I understand why it works, but that is silly then. The reason why we wouldn't get, why we're not getting the extra slots here is because the effectiveness, it's basically is reliant on you hitting 150% effectiveness, and since we aren't, it's generally just a waste of money, I would assume. So that is probably why it bugs out. That is frustrating, though, I'll be honest. I think with the money that we have here, we might upgrade the suspension sim and maybe the car part sim, but we'll have a look at that next time around. How much does my contract with Mackies cost? Let's have a look here. We're giving him 1.1 million a year over 5 years. Post race back to animal realism, yeah. I don't think we'll be having much problems with the cost cap, although we'll just have to tune down our research a little bit. Porsche on his 3rd engine and 4th gearbox was painful for me. That sounds painful. We might improve fix this contract a bit later, William, but for now I'm actually gonna have to run. I need to be somewhere in about 15 minutes, so yeah. I will be ending it here, unfortunately. Sporting direction from Red Bull costs 1.3, is that what it says? Costs about 1.3 million, so that's, yeah. The thing is, we didn't pick up the Red Bull one because he wasn't interested, so we couldn't pick him up even if we wanted. Really struggles to not keep under the cost cap. Just have still 30 million left, then run research. I'll probably make a kind of a guide on dealing with the cost cap later, Luke. But generally, once you hit about 40-30 million, you want to just focus on research and probably keep about a little bit in case you have some bad crashes, so you can manufacture parts. So far, cost cap is just a fine though, so it's not really a huge deal to break it. But again, it is what it is. But yeah, thank you all for showing up. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. It's been nice to stream again, to have you all here. And yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for chatting. And hopefully, I'll see you around next stream. Bye-bye. Oh, and as I said, I might not stream tomorrow, but I'll post on Discord and on my YouTube channel if I do. I'm a little bit uncertain, as I said. We'll have to see. I got some things I need to do. But maybe we'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully, though, have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.